Yeah, bruv, the game ain't hard when you got the trump card. It's all rigged and I'm calling more games than Bob Uecker. Changing the outcomes like Duke Nukem to a new future. Win some, lose some, bag some, choose none. Will the aliens come save the day? Are we going to listen to what they say? The uranium, cranium, aliens popping up like circadians. Got me spontaneously training in the Palladium gymnasium. Ultimate battle in the extraterrestrial stadium. It really just be the Mediterranean and Sylvanians. Bloodlines, overtime, dragon descendants. Scripting bread and circus lizards in attendance. Serpent queens, breaking dreams, dragging me down. The underworld royalty is all about how much you can clown. I'm talking about the number 9-2. If you didn't know, well now you do. Numerous fears, what's in the hearse? I am who I am, man with a plan. Where you at with the rebellion? 1 in a million, us against a billionaire reptilians. Look at the
what's up, Soldier? Mic check. We get a thumbs up, please.
No time for the bellion, strawmen led by spellmen, dialectic Hegelian. Everyone's worked up waiting for the aliens. Problem, reaction, solution, little contribution. The script tells that they cast spells like nuclear fusion, spreading confusion, lie distribution. Old as hell, ain't even some new shit.
All the radium, cranium, aliens popping up like circadians. Got me spontaneously training in the Palladium gymnasium. Ultimate battle.
Thank you, 707. Southpaw. Best night of the week.
The uranium, cranium, aliens popping up like circadians. Got me spontaneously training in the Palladium gymnasium. Ultimate battle in the extraterrestrial stadium. It really just be the Mediterranean Transylvanians. Will the aliens come save the day? Are we gonna listen to what they say?
Welcome back, ballers, to another episode of Eye to Eye with AJ, Rambo, and Cody, with another familiar guest, Myron. He got game, kicking us off tonight. Welcome back, everybody. Today is Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026. Before we get started, Myron, Rambo, Cody, can you guys hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right, good to go. We'll dive right into it, you guys. My name is AJ, Balll Don't Lie, 3 L's in Ball. You guys can find all of my content here on YouTube, where we're streaming tonight, as well as on Instagram at Balll Don't Lie, 3 L's in Ball. Please feel free to send me an email at wordplaybook3osinbook@gmail.com if you guys are ever interested in picking my brain, and or I have plenty of copies of my work that I've written over the years that I can send over to you as well. Also got a Patreon for those that are interested in sports leans and things like that. I post practically daily. Check me out, patreon.com/onthemoneyball. Myron, please let the viewers know where they can find you and support you.
Yes, sir. Good to see you all again. You can find me on Instagram at He Got Game, H3GOTTGAM3 with an underscore. That's where all my work is.
Fantastic, Myron. Yeah, I appreciate you kicking us off tonight, and really looking forward to some of the content that you have for us as well. Cody.
Yeah, thank you again, AJ, for throwing this. Thank you to everyone for being here. Also, glad to have Myron back. Looking forward to his presentation, and also looking forward to speaking with Rambo and throwing stuff around with all three of you. But thank you all for being here. And if you guys want to find me, Decoding with Cody on YouTube, and then buymeacoffee.com/decoding with Cody is the support link, and look forward to the stream.
We appreciate you, Cody, so much for what you do for the show. It means a lot. Rambo, please, you have the floor.
Yeah, again, thanks again for putting this together, AJ, and it's an honor to have Myron here and Cody as well with his mind-blowing decodes. Myron as well, some mind-blowing decodes. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. You as well. You have some great stuff to present, AJ. And this is where I can be found, patreon.com/thetruthcodes. One tier, $5 a month, and access to the Codebreaker community server. Actually, last week I shouldn't have said anything because I thought I had everything in a row for live streaming. Everything was set, but it didn't work when I did it. So I really shouldn't have said anything. But I'm working on live streaming, and so I'm on plan E now. I did plan A. Plan B. AJ can attest to it. You're very patient and kind, trying to help me, and you saw how complicated it got. So I'm
Absolutely.
I'm on plan E. So what we were working on, AJ, it didn't work. I have to go to my next plan. It's literally plan E now I'm on, and hopefully that works. So I am working on live streaming, which I'll get more decodes out that way. I am working on it, and I'll come up with something.
Yeah, we'll get something put together for sure. Sometimes you got to just flip over as many stones as you can, and you'll find a gem. So, yeah, I mean, whenever that day comes, it'll be awesome to support you through that. So just keep that in mind, you guys. Make sure to get into Rambo's Patreon.com/the truth codes, spelled exactly as it is, only $5 a month. And he's working really hard on being able to make himself exclusive for his paid members on Patreon to do live streams and have a little bit more of a collab there. So I'm excited about that. So thank you, Rambo. Yeah, keep me posted. Let me know if you need some of my time, and we can go through some trials and tribulations and work through some things. So
yeah, appreciate your help and your patience on it. Yeah,
absolutely. So we got a lot to cover tonight, you guys. Thanks again, Myron, really for everything that you're doing, not only for the show, but, just keeping me in the know of the things that you're looking at. I know that you share a lot of that stuff on Instagram as well. So once again, you guys make sure to follow Myron at He Got Game on Instagram. That's where his content is now currently. But Myron, yeah, you have the floor, man. Kick us off. What are we talking about tonight?
All right. Appreciate you, AJ. I have two things I'm covering. One is the death this week for Tay Keith. I know he's a big name in the music industry, so I have some decodes on that. And then with football season around the corner, I'm going to be touching on the #1 draft pick for the upcoming NFL season as well. But yeah, here to start off, Tay Keith, when they announced his death, immediately, I know he's connected to Drake. Even if you don't follow Drake, like, we know he's a household name in the music industry. But Tay Keith's rise to fame came in 2018, and he ended up passing away on the 8-year anniversary of XXXTentacion. So on Instagram, I titled it X Marks the Spot. So I'm going to bring together all of the connections between Tay Keith, XXXTentacion, and the rest of these X projects that you see on this screen. Dante Hall on your bottom right, and then the album called Project X on your bottom left. All right. So Tay Keith, he did pass away in Tennessee at the age of 29. On the right, you can see Brandon Clark. He was just an NBA player who passed away for the Memphis Grizzlies. Of course, in Tennessee, they play in Tennessee as well. Passed away at the exact same age of 29. And when Tay Keith rose to fame in 2018, his hit was alongside with Drake called Look Alive, and that debuted on February 9th, 2009. So Tay Keith, he began his career with his most popular song at the time, which kind of got him famous, was Look Alive, his collaboration with Drake on 2009, and he ended up passing away in Tennessee at age 29. And then Brandon Clark as well, who played for the Tennessee team, the Memphis Grizzlies, passed away at age 29 also. Next up, this in the rap community, he's kind of popular like out in Tennessee as well as in the South, but his name is Key Glock. So again, Tay Keith, he passed away on the death anniversary of XXXTentacion. The very next day, this rapper, he dropped an album called Project X, and Tay Keith produced the very first song on this album, and he also produced the single that was advertisement for the Project X album. If you look at the birthday of Key Glock, his birthday is August 3rd, which is 8-3. And on August 3rd, 8-3 in 2018, that was Tay Keith's most successful song that he produced, again with Travis Scott and Drake, called Sicko Mode. So on 8-3, that was pretty much his most successful hit for Tay Keith, called Sicko Mode. He Glock's birthday, 8-3. And then I'm going to touch a little bit later on the 83-point game, because it's been across the sports world with the 83 being Bam Adebayo dropping 83 in Florida. And that in Florida is where XXXTentacion was killed 8 years ago. You can go to the next one. Currently, Tay Keith, he was said to have ongoing legal issues with popular rapper Sexy Red. Sexy Red is also, she happens to be from St. Louis. And Dante Hall below, he has the exact same birthday as Tay Keith, and he retired as a St. Louis Ram. The reason I brought Dante Hall into the collaboration is because he has the same birthday as Tay Keith, and his nickname was the X Factor. So every time he scored a touchdown or made a big play, he would throw up the X symbol. And if you look to the left, Tay Keith and Dante Hall share the exact same birthday. Tay Keith's legal battle right now was with Sexy Red, and Sexy Red just happens to be from St. Louis, which is where Dante Hall retired. He only played in Missouri, and the two teams he played for was the Kansas City Chiefs and the St. Louis Rams.
Did not the Rams face off against the Chiefs a few years ago? Or am I don't know. It's hard to, because it was the Chiefs handful of years. You had the Niners. The Rams last time they were in the Super Bowl was
Bengals.
Was it the Bengals? It was the Bengals, right?
Yeah.
21.
Yeah.
Or 22. Yeah. Okay. I'm just trying to think the last time the Rams faced off against the Chiefs. I thought that was more recent, but anyways.
If you can look, I connected Bam Adebayo because, like I said, he plays for the Florida team. That's where XXX was killed in 2018. But the death age stood out to me as well. Of Tay Keith dying at age 29, the night that Bam Adebayo broke the record or became second all time in scoring, it left the Miami Heat still on 29 losses. And again, the 8-3, Tay Keith's most successful hit, is on 8-3 called Sicko Mode with Travis Scott and Drake. And one more piece. I'm sorry for this. He broke the record against the Wizards, the Washington Wizards, and that was the exact same team that was Brandon Clark's last opponent as well. His last NBA game was against the Washington Wizards, and he died at age 29 as well, as did Tay Keith. Here, this is just, again, I touched on him having legal issues with this rapper, Sexy Red. You can see in her tribute that she's wearing the number 8 jersey. And again, Tay Keith, he passed away exactly 8 years to the death date of XXXTentacion.
Sorry about that. Hey, but Mr. S shouted you out. He mentioned, hey, Myron, you got to pull up the Nike ad with Drake, KDS, and Dennis Graham. He's holding the sickle. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that. You want to pull it up?
I guess I could.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
29 club replaced 27 club for early exits. Seems that way. Yeah. Okay. So we're on the back end. I'll look up this Nike ad with Drake and Dennis Graham. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, Cody, Rambo, anything you guys wanted to, I don't know, throw in or add in with what Myron shared so far? Keep it rolling.
Yeah, he can. Yeah, keep rolling. Yeah.
Okay.
And then finally here again, Dante Hall, aka the X Factor, sharing the same birthday as Tay Keith. Tay Keith's rise to fame as well as XXXTentacion's death, both occurred in 2018, and that's when the X Factor Dante Hall was inducted into the Missouri Hall of Fame, was in 2018 as well. That's my last slide for the Tay Keith connections.
So I had one follow-up question, I guess.
Yeah.
With this slide. So
yeah.
So he created, excuse me, he created Sicko Mode, but then Project X Key Glock. That's like a separate album than Astroworld.
Yeah. So he produced the single. Tay Keith produced the single to this album, Project X. So Tay Keith passed away on June 18th, and the very next day, Key Glock releases this album called Project X. So he dies on the death anniversary of XXXTentacion, and then the very next day, Project X comes out. The very first song on that album Tay Keith produced is called Manish, and then there's a song called Go. That was the single to promote the Project X album, and Tay Keith also produced that song as well.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Betty's saying that Keith looks like Jay-Z.
Oh,
I don't know about that. But all right. Well, and then okay. So you also had a couple things on Fernando Mendoza, right?
Yes, sir. Back to sports. The one thing, my strong suit. So Fernando Mendoza, middle name Gabriel. I just made some connections to him because he got drafted out of Indiana, and he of course is a Raider now. And we know, for those, I'm not a huge Indiana Jones fan, but I do know about Indiana Jones because it was such a big movie name when I was a child. But Indiana Jones, the very first Indiana Jones movie is called Raiders of the Lost Ark. So Mendoza, the very first movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark, they discover a gold idol. And so Mendoza, he used to be, his first college, he was a Golden Bear in California. So he played for Cal Golden Bears. He transfers to Indiana, and then he gets drafted to the Raiders. So Indiana Jones, his very first movie is Raiders of the Lost Ark, and in that movie they discover a gold idol that syncs up. And then the Ark connection, his middle name is Gabriel. That's the Archangel, as we all know about. And then the very first draft pick that is considered to be the first draft pick for next year's NFL draft is going to be Arch Manning. So I made those subtle connections there with Gabriel and the Archangel.
Well, it also makes me think of like the Golden Arches.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if Mendoza ends up in a McDonald's commercial or something, you know?
Right. Yeah, he starts off in the Golden State of California. He's a Raider now with their NHL team. The Golden Knights just played in the Stanley Cup as well. So a lot of gold symbolism, and then just him jumping from Indiana to the Raiders, making that Indiana Jones connection.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's funny too, because even just last week, Cody, we talked about Harrison Ford briefly, didn't we?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, Harrison Ford, he seems to be at the center of a lot of these things because he's in so many movies, so many big movies. But also the fact that this Indiana Jones stuff is coming back up, it just reminds me. I mean, what did I talk about all last year with the Colts? I mean, the Colts' whole riddle is Indiana Jones. That's why their that's literally what they call their quarterback. You know, Daniel Jones is Indiana Jones. So all year I was thinking the Colts were going to go pretty far, and then they didn't even make the playoffs. But it seems like Indiana ended up fulfilling. In fact, I think I kind of went over that when it happened. I think Indiana, the college, ended up fulfilling what I was seeing in the code for the Colts all year. So it's funny that now we have this this thing happening with, you know, Indiana quarterback coming to the NFL and playing for the Raiders. So it'll be interesting to see if the Colts play the Raiders this year. I don't know if they do or not, but and also he wears 15. Is he wearing 15 in the NFL too?
I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
Yeah, Colts does equal 15 as well. So this is another interesting. I think they had the 15th pick this. Oh no, I think they would have had the 15th. They had a 15th pick last year, I think. I don't know, but there's a lot of 15s with the Colts. So it's interesting. He's also wearing number 15. So that's what I had to say. I'll have to look into see how he's tied in with Daniel Jones and in general, but definitely a good observation there with Indiana Jones.
Yeah, for sure. A golden idol. Yeah.
Yeah. With me, the big thing with Mendoza is his birthday, which is October 1st, which is a huge day in the history of Las Vegas. October 1st, 2017. That's the day of the Mandalay Bay Route 91 harvest shooting. That is a big day. I mean, that's an understatement to say it's a big day in the history of Las Vegas. It's a big day in the history of the United States. That was October 1st. They happened to draft a quarterback whose birthday is on that infamous day.
Well, and the shooting was out of Mandalay Bay, which is pretty much a massive gold tower. You know what I mean? Like the window fixture is the golden windows, right? Yeah, that's crazy.
And that has to do with Sirius. 101 has to do with Sirius. A shout out to Casey Jones, Heart Chakra, Bobby Simpson. There's many names. He's the one who pointed out that the number 101 is actually a physical representation of Sirius in between the twin pillars. In the sidereal zodiac, the star Sirius is in the constellation of Gemini. This is a major part of Freemason iconography, is the blazing star between the twin pillars, above the twin pillars. That's Sirius. That is Sirius above Gemini. That's in the sidereal zodiac. It's not the same as the tropical, where Sirius is in Cancer. They use both. The blazing star between the twin pillars, that's 101. I learned that. That was huge. Shout out to Bobby on that one. That was huge. 101. That is why, because Sirius is the dog star. For the movie, which AJ just alluded to, 101 Dalmatians, why did they pick that number? When Bobby told me that, then it clicked. So that's why they named the movie. That's why it's a movie. Well, it's a story first, obviously. That is why they picked. You could say 100 Dalmatians. No, it had to be 101 because 101 is it's a physical representation of the twin pillars and the blazing star. So the Sirius is the 0, and the ones are the twin pillars. That's why they picked 101 Dalmatians. And think about October 1st. 101.
AJ, isn't you touched on 101 Dalmatians too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I did it offline before we went live. I mean, kind of tying it in with why Mike Brown won with the Knicks.
Yeah,
who let the dogs out, right?
Okay.
Let me just pull that slide up. So, like,
I was thinking because he said the blazing star. I know Jameson, that New York Knicks, his college is UAB, and they're the Blazers. That's why. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this was the 101 that I was talking about because you know, and it goes into a whole lot like other part of the presentation that I posted on Instagram. But just notice that when the Knicks won, the date the Knicks won, June 13th, that was the same date that there was a dog by the name of Jameson who was shot and killed by LAPD during a celebration when the Knicks won, right? Well, that happened on the 101st day of Mike Brown's age, the head coach of the Knicks. Going back to that 101 symbolism with 101 Dalmatians, 26 prime like dog. But a big thing that Mike Brown's been doing since winning, right, is he says we got a lot of dogs on our team, and then the whole team is singing "Who Let the Dogs Out," all these things, all while a player by the name of Jameson on the Knicks wins the championship the same day that the dog named Jameson dies. Right?
But think about how Myles Garrett, the dog pound, got traded to LA just recently.
Yeah.
He wears 95, which is serious.
And there's the 101 freeway, right? In LA.
Yeah. That's the 101. Yeah. You Rambo, you said it's the Blaze. What? Tell me again what that is.
The blazing star.
The blazing star.
Sirius. Yeah. So Sirius is considered a spiritual sun, while the sun we have is the physical sun.
Okay.
Sirius is considered the spiritual sun, which goes back to ancient Egypt. This comes actually from the spirituality of ancient Egypt /
Got
Kemet. They
it.
call themselves Kemet.
Okay.
That's where it comes from, which has been inherited by Western mystery traditions. And even, not only Egypt, also it relates to the Dogon of West Africa, who are
Yeah.
primarily in Mali. They venerated Sirius. So it's also in Africa. So it's Mali, Sirius was venerated by the Dogon and by Egypt. So
Okay.
for a lot of African traditions, Sirius was considered. In fact, the Dogon believed that beings from Sirius came
Yeah.
to Earth and told them that it was a binary star. So there's controversy over that. How did they know? Because they didn't have technology, but they're saying no. We were told, and it's through an oral tradition, we were told by beings from Sirius that, by the way,
Okay.
it's 2 stars. And Egypt didn't know those 2 stars. It looks like 1 star. And
Okay.
they're saying this is before we had telescopes and then discovered it's 2 stars, but the Dogon seemed to know ahead of time.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Sirius B is really small compared to Sirius A. Sirius B rotates around Sirius A over a 50-year period, which is why Jameson wears number 50.
Got it. Okay.
That's the
Okay.
rotational. That's the orbital cycle of Sirius B around Sirius A is 50 years. That's why.
Got you. Okay. Yeah. Look. Yeah. So yeah, just a little piece to add to you got your connection and then AJ's connection. His college. He went to UAB. I know those are the Blazers, and the mascot is named Blaze. So
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, their mascot is
UAB
Blaze.
That's right.
Yeah.
What is the mascot? Is
It's a dragon.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's right. I was wondering why you were asking about that, Myron, because I did know he went to UAB and the Blazers, but I never connected that dot about
Yeah, that's crazy. As soon as he said 101 Dalmatians and the Blazing Star, I'm like, wait, this dude was a Blazer pretty much. So okay.
Yeah, we're talking about Trey Jameson. He wore 55 in college, but he wore 50 for the Knicks this year, won the championship the same day that the dog named Jameson, born on Kobe's death date. Their birthdays are 59 days apart. You know, a dog is a man's best friend, right? So man's best friend, 59. But I was sharing this slide as we were talking about Sirius, because what are the odds that Jameson the dog dies on Jordan Avenue in Los Angeles, right? And then when you measure from the date of him being shot and killed, the dog, 227 days before what would have been Jameson's next doggy birthday, 49th prime, just like Sirius, right? So this is just another image just showing Mike Brown, singing Who Let the Dogs Out, absolutely legendary. We got some dogs on this team, baby. How sick. You know what I mean? Like, as this dog gets shot and killed. I mean, and then now they're doing Knicks compare each other to dogs in hilarious roast. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are the odds of all of that? I guess the one other thing I'll mention about Who Let the Dogs Out, I don't have a slide for it. It is on my Instagram. But when you measure from the date of the Knicks winning the championship, June 13th, all the way back to the release date of the song Who Let the Dogs Out, it's exactly 9,453 days apart, which matters because the Knicks scored 94 points to break a 53-year drought as they're singing Who Let the Dogs Out. I mean, to the day, not a day to spare.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I know that kind of sidebarred for a second, but there was this last final image here, Myron, that you shared. We were talking about Mendoza, Indiana Jones connections.
Just the
touch on the Archangel.
Yeah, the Archangel, and then just the final connection because the pretty much the person who created Indiana Jones created Star Wars also. And I know his nickname is the Nandalorian, like a play on Mandalorian. His nickname is Nandalorian, and that comes from a Star Wars reference. So even him having a Star Wars nickname and then having the Indiana Jones connection, and Star Wars is pretty much under the same brand or under the same creator as Indiana Jones as well. So another athlete who, if you don't know, when you find out these things, is just already prepped and primed for the world stage. And it seems like he's going to fit right into play. I'm interested to see how his career takes off after this.
I mean, especially with him on the Pat McAfee show saying he was trying to get into Skull and Bones.
Oh no! And look at the Raiders logo.
Well, yeah, no, exactly. That's the Anywhere's number 15, and Skull and Bones only brings in 15 new members a year.
Wow. Tom Brady is we know his Skull and Bones like 9/11 connection, but Tom Brady they just released an article because Mendoza called him Mr. Brady. And so now Tom Brady, like he just had something in the news talking about Mendoza calling him or referring to him as Mr. Brady. So that could be like an initiation piece for Skull and Bones right there.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, it's funny too. Speaking of Skull and Bones, when we were talking about Jameson, I think I deleted the slide because I couldn't finish it in time. But Jameson in the Satanic Cipher equals 322. And if you measure from the date, like the anniversary release date of Who Let the Dogs Out, it's 322 days from when Jameson died. So I was talking about when you measure back from the 2000 release date, you're at 9,453. But if you just measure back to the anniversary of the release date, it's 322 days. Makes me think of dogs and their bones. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, yeah, no, great stuff, Myron. Great stuff.
See, that's also a line in the song. The song "Who Let the Dogs Out."
Mm-hmm.
One of the lines is, "A doggy is nothing if he don't have a bone."
Yeah.
Oh, geez, I didn't even look at the lyrics yet.
Then the chorus is, "All doggies hold your bone." Just bring up the lyrics. Yeah, bring up the lyrics since you're mentioning bones, how it relates to it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness,
it's a pretty cheesy song. I mean, it's not, you don't take a genius lyricist to come up with those, but this is all symbolism. It's all based on Sirius. This is all based on Sirius, all of it, entirely.
Yeah, that is wild. Okay, hold on a second. Share screen. Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Well, the party was nice. Party was pumping. Everybody having a ball.
No, I got further down, yeah. Okay, it's at the bottom there, like the bottom paragraph. Say a doggy is nothing if you don't have. All doggy hold your bone.
I mean, isn't that crazy? Like this song released 322 days apart from when Jameson, which equals 322, is shot and killed. And here's the other part of it. In the story, he gets shot because he gets let out by his owner. You know what I mean? Like the cops are in the hallway and the cops are saying like, is your dog put away or whatever? And the owner keeps saying like, oh, don't worry, he's really sweet, no big deal. But then the dog gets let out. And then as soon as he gets let out, he goes towards one of the police officers and gets shot and killed. So who let the dog out? Like, you know what I mean? It's literally part of the story, this tragic story about Jameson.
This actually segues into what I was going to talk about. I might as well talk about it now since we're on the topic. The World Cup is going on. It's all tied to Jordan. All Sirius, all Jordan has to do with the star Sirius is at the moment in relation to Earth. The big story, there's one big story in this World Cup. What does the world love? All human beings love this, is an underdog. The entire human race, just across all cultures, humans love underdogs. They love the David and Goliath story. Right now, you have the biggest underdog story, maybe in World Cup history. The whole world has fallen in love with this one team. They're from a lot of people. This is the thing. Most people haven't even heard of this country. Don't even know where it is. It's in Africa, but off the coast of West Africa, with a population of 500,000. It's called Cape Verde in English. Cabo Verde, I think, is how you pronounce it in Portuguese. They were a Portuguese colony, so they're West African. It's a small archipelago off the coast of West Africa with a population of 500,000. That's their entire population. They have a big diaspora a population in Boston. So they're in Boston. There's that's like the biggest population outside. I think there's some in Portugal. There's a big population in Portugal, but Boston, for some reason, Massachusetts, there's the concentration of them. And so they played Spain. Spain, who were the European champions, one of the favorites to win the world champion. Spain is a Goliath of soccer with a population of something like what? Almost 60 million. And then, they held, Cape Verde held Spain to a draw. Then they played Uruguay, who's a two-time champion. They were not expecting, 500,000. They were not expected. They're expected to lose all their games, but they're the big underdog story. So it just ties into what you're saying, because they're the underdog. And it's Cabo Verde or Cape Verde. Look at their initials, CV. What's the third letter of the alphabet? I mean, what is C? The third letter of the alphabet. What is V? The 22nd letter of
right. No, they.
So their initials, so their initials are 322, which ties into what you're saying here with the dog. They're the underdog, the biggest underdog story in World Cup history. With the initials 322, the dog, and you're talking about 322 days from when the anniversary of who let the dogs out. At Jameson's almost to 333. Now you have the underdog is CV 322. That ties right into the World Cup. It ties right into
Holy smokes. Yeah. And it's got that green kind of, I don't know about the yellow, but I mean, it makes me think of the cartoon underdog that wears a cape.
Yes.
And then, we've talked about green and yellow. So like Cape Verde.
Well, that means green.
Verde like green,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Anyways.
Yeah. No, that was a good observation. I didn't think about the cape. And the cape. Yeah, that's a big, I didn't think of that. That's
the cartoon. The cartoon dog who wears the cape, right?
Yeah, so capes in general represent superheroes. That's the generic superhero symbol is the cape.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Myron, you all right, bud? Looks like you've been kind of popping in and out. Can you hear us? If you can, you're on mute. It's all good. We'll let them figure it out. Cody, did you say something?
Yeah. So I did notice something with Cape Verde myself too when I was looking into this. It's once again all synced up with the Hondius, because so I already showed how the Hondius was a Dutch ship that left Argentina. Argentina won the last World Cup. Leo Messi is the Argentine player. The guy on the ship was Leo, a Dutch guy. He died. His wife died too. She went to South Africa. The 2010 World Cup was in South Africa. South Africa also connects to the Dutch Afrikaans, as Rambo pointed out. But then this Cape Verde thing that happened, a lot of people miss. It's like just such a joke how this ship is so tied in with all this. But the ship actually docked in Cape Verde, Hondius, to deboard, but they wouldn't allow them to. They would not allow the ship to disembark there. So they had to move on to Spain, Tenerife. Well, who did the Cape Verde beat? They beat Spain. I mean, it's too perfect, guys. I mean, this whole ship thing is such a central theme to the whole World Cup, in my opinion. It can't be overlooked. I mean, you got all these different countries involved, but the fact that Cape Verde, out of all the little countries in the world, just happens to be in the World Cup, and this just happened to be one of the little islands that this ship stopped at, and they were not allowed to get off, whereas they got moved on to Spain, and then in the World Cup they just happened to shock Spain, right, and tie them, So I had done some measurements even, and I forget now what there was even perfect date alignments with this ship, the game between Spain and Cape Verde, and the ship itself. I don't remember it right now, but I just want to throw that in there because it was clear that this ship is being synced up with the World Cup.
how do you pronounce it? Cape? Is it Cape Verde? Verde?
I mean, in English, well, it's Portuguese. I think they pronounce it Verde. I can look it up. I mean, look up how to pronounce. I'm actually going to do that now. I'm going to go to YouTube. I like pronouncing things, you know. I really like that. But let me see how to pronounce. How to pronounce.
So Susan says Cape Ved. The green cape reminds me of the Wizard of Oz. Does Oz wear a green cape? I forget. Kind of like a cloak, right? Hey, Myron, you out there? Can you hear us? Maybe I'll just text him. Hey, Rambo, you there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm listening to some YouTube video that's kind of explaining how to pronounce it. I just want to hear how he says it.
Cabo Verde.
He says Capo Verde, which doesn't really sound like how the Portuguese pronounce it.
Okay.
Or you can go to YouTube, put how to pronounce, but in general, it does mean green cape. And that cape superhero connection was great.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. They are the underdog. Yeah, they are the underdog. Underdog was in the air. I'll be talking about the underdog in the air. The big one was the mayoral election in New York City. That was the big underdog story. And then in 2025, not one, but two big time productions on David and Goliath came out. Two of them in 2025. One was a Amazon streaming series, and the other was the animated movie of David and Goliath. So I had a feeling it's probably going to manifest in the World Cup because they were really pushing the underdog thing.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, I just thought about this. You know, we talked about how Jameson, this name Jameson, equals 322 in the Satanic cipher. Well, dog equals 131 in the same cipher. Kind of like how championship equals 131 in simple. But I point that out because we talked about how the final, or the World Cup final is going to be in New Jersey technically, right? But pretty much right next door to New York, or is it actually in
it's in New Jersey. It's in the New York metropolitan area. It's just on the other side of the river. It's right on the other side of the river. It's the New York metropolitan area, even though the river is the border between New York and New Jersey. But it's the home of the two New York football teams, the Giants and Jets. So it's New Jersey, but it's New York kind of.
Right. Well, I mean, you know, I think that's relevant just because we talked about the World Cup, the underdog. Well, the World Cup final is going to be in the New York metropolitan area, and you just had the New York Knicks win the championship, and they were founded on June 6th. So I just measured from Jameson, the dog's birthday, to June 6th. It's a span of 131 days. You know, so who knows? Maybe Jameson is tied in not only to the Knicks championship, you know, ritual, but maybe it has something to do with the World Cup coming up.
No,
or the final.
It clearly, I think, is, because if you just type in Jameson, it equals 23, like it's the 23rd World Cup. Jameson equals 112, like World Cup.
Do you want to share your screen, Cody?
And 40. Jameson equals 112 and 40, like World Cup. What'd you say, AJ?
Oh, I said if you'd like to share your screen, you're more than welcome.
Let's see. Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, so you see the 112 and 40, like World Cup. So it just reversed 112 and 40. And then, like I said, 20, he got the 23. So, which is the 23rd World Cup, which is Michael Jordan, which is the big
That's right.
connection
Well,
here.
he died on Jordan Avenue. He was shot and killed on Jordan Avenue. How perfect.
Right. Another interesting
in
thing
Los
is
Angeles. In Los Angeles, yeah.
He's got the 816 in Latin. That's Elvis's death date. Just reminds me, Elvis, the Hound Dog, Vegas connection with Elvis.
Oh, that's right.
Remember in the Netherlands video for the World Cup, their moon landing video, they have Elvis next to Michael Jordan. So interesting that Jameson equals 23 and 816, which is Elvis's death date. So that's interesting. Must be something with Michael Jordan and Elvis.
Yeah, Codes, I'm not sure if you jumped in before we kicked things off, but, since we're still talking about Jameson, some other things I, did not touch on in my Instagram post. When we talk about Michael Jordan, just notice that the date the Knicks won the championship, the same date that Jameson, the dog, was shot and killed, 116 days like K9, when you measure it back to Michael Jordan's birthday. Once again, Jameson died on Jordan Avenue. In LA, Michael Jordan won his first championship against Los Angeles. Well, Michael Jordan, one of his nicknames besides the GOAT, excuse me, was the Black Cat. And who else was on the Knicks? Karl Anthony Towns, also known as Cat, right? So there's this like dog and cat kind of theme I've been noticing. I made this slide just to point out too that Cat won the NBA Finals, defeating the Spurs exactly 210 days after his birthday, like the San Antonio area code. But staying on topic here with Jameson, dogs and cats, most people in this community, when they see January 26th, they immediately think of Kobe. Well, sure enough, Jameson was born on January 26th, and he was shot by LAPD. Well, LAPD and Kobe have a grand slam match, as Rambo would say it in the base ciphers. Right. So we touched on the dog and cat themes. Another thing I just thought was interesting. I wish Myron was here because him and I have been talking about the movie Like Mike with Lil Bow Wow. You guys remember that? I think we might have talked about that briefly. But just think about Bow Wow. The dog themes there. Well, check this out. I took a look at when Trey Jemison. Or Jameson, I don't know how you would pronounce it spelled this way, but he was the player on the Knicks who just won. He signed a 2-way contract with the Knicks on September 16th of last year. And you measure from that particular date back to the day that Jameson the dog was born in 2024. That's 599 days, the 109th prime, just like Los Angeles and shooting, just like Lil Bow Wow. And tying it back to Michael Jordan, because the movie Like Mike, starring Lil Bow Wow, is about Michael, Bow Wow becoming like Michael Jordan, and Michael Jeffrey Jordan equals 109. So, even the movie Like Mike to the song Who Let the Dogs Out, it's all tied in with the basketball themes and the dog themes and Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. You could even take it to LeBron James. I took a look at like Karl Anthony Towns. Don't forget that the Hornets, who Michael Jordan used to own, was a part of that trade, which got Cat over to the Knicks. But I just took a look at when Karl Anthony Towns officially became a Knick, and you measure that to the date of Jameson the dog's death, the same day that the Knicks won the championship, 619 days, Codes. Just like your birthday, the 114th prime, like LeBron James, So I know it's kind of all over the place, but, the key things is this player, Trey Jameson, wins the championship with the Knicks, while Jameson, the dog, wearing a Knicks shirt, gets shot and killed the same day, So I don't want to over-repeat myself, but those are pretty much the main points.
Yeah, I think it's crazy story considering I know Rambo's been on the Sirius. I haven't been looking so much into Sirius, but I've seen the whole World Cup has got this serious connection, and with the dog stuff going on, it just makes sense that we get a story with a dog, especially wearing the championship colors of that blue and orange again too. Gotta keep seeing that, but
Mm-hmm.
So I can do my. I have some things to present, which segues perfectly into what you were just talking about.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's the 2026 World Cup, and as I've been saying for a while, ever since, well, I mean, for the last couple of years, it is very significant that it's the 23rd World Cup because that is Michael Jordan's number. Now, 23rd in and of itself doesn't automatically say, oh, 23, therefore it's Jordan. I mean, no, there's obviously more, but I was, the fact that it was the 23rd World Cup did make me, make at least an initial association with Jordan. It's 2026 World Cup. In fact, the number 26 is in the official logo for the World Cup. They don't always have the year in the World Cup logo, but they do this year. 26 is very significant. 2026. Well, in the Pythagorean cipher of English gematria, Jordan is 26. So it's the 23rd World Cup, and Jordan is 26. Now, Jordan has been in the news, as I've covered, significantly influencing. He in 2025, he influenced the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl was between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. The Eagles won, and the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts, debuted the latest edition of Air Jordan 1 football cleats. Air Jordan doesn't really sponsor that many athletes, or relatively few athletes, and had not been visible in soccer at all. It was mostly basketball, expanded into football and other sports, baseball. Even only a handful of Major League Baseball players who were Air Jordan athletes. So you can even look at the list of Air Jordan athletes. It's really not that long. Then they expanded into football. It's apparel and footwear. Air Jordan has been invisible completely in soccer. Now, not Nike. Nike has its visibility in soccer, which is dominated by Adidas. But Nike still does have an influence in soccer, but not Air Jordan until Paris Saint-Germain of France. They got an Air Jordan contract, and last year I didn't do a decode on it, but I talked about it in my comments section to some patrons, that because Paris Saint-Germain had the Jordan logo, and that's the reason I figured they'd win the Champions League, because Jordan had been winning, because Jordan won the Super Bowl essentially. Jalen Hurts debuted Air Jordan 1s. The Philadelphia Eagles wear green and white with black trimmings. Yet Jalen Hurts wore Air Jordan 1s in Chicago Bulls colors. They actually clashed with his uniform. What that told you is how the emphasis, how important Air Jordan was to that occasion. Air Jordan comes out in all sorts of colors. You could have had Air Jordan 1s in Philadelphia Eagles colors. No, that's because the emphasis was on Jordan. In fact, let me get a look at that. Jalen Hurts.
Hey, Myron, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm back. I don't know what happened, man, but I got sound now.
No worries. Good to see you.
So here he is at the Super Bowl with the Air Jordan 1s. And look, Air Jordan comes in a variety of colors. It comes in green. But no, he wore they're in Chicago Bulls colors. But that was this emphasizes the importance of Air Jordan 1 to the occasion. That was the Super Bowl 2025. It was the 40th anniversary of Air Jordan. Air Jordan was celebrating 40 years of greatness. Jalen Hurts led the Philadelphia Eagles offense to 40 points. The Chiefs scored 22 points for a total of 62 points. Jordan is also 62 in gematria besides 26. If I can get that calculator up. So Jordan it's a reflection. It's 22 and 62. So the Eagles, so does the Eagles 40 in the 40th anniversary, 40 years of greatness for Air Jordan. And the Eagles scored 40 points, 62 points were scored total because Jordan is 62. Jordan is 26 in the Pythagorean. This is the 2026 World Cup. That's why I figured after that Super Bowl, Michael Jordan would turn 62 years old. So that was going to be big. So I figured Michael Jordan's birthday will be big. That was in 2025. I didn't know what would happen. Sure enough, something happened on his birthday, which I've talked about ad nauseum on my channel. In Toronto, Delta flight 4819 flipped upside down on Michael Jordan's birthday on runway 23. It was always going to be big. And Air Jordan, think of an airplane, Air Jordan. Air Jordan is it's a reference. It sounds like an airline. So you think of Air India, Air New Zealand. These are the national airlines of these countries. Air Jordan almost sounds like, well, it doesn't almost sound, it sounds like the national airline of Jordan, which I was sure isn't Air Jordan the national airline? No, it's not. So the national airline of Jordan is Royal Jordanian. So that was flight 4819 that flipped upside down on Michael Jordan's birthday. So I took 4819 days before that incident. What happened? It was the anniversary of the founding of Royal Jordanian Air. So that tied into the flight number of the plane that flipped upside down on Michael Jordan's 62nd birthday on runway 23. It tied right into the flight number. You take the flight number, you go back 4819 days. It takes you to the anniversary of the founding of Royal Jordanian Airlines. And what happened at the history that was made for the 2026 World Cup, which is the 23rd World Cup, Jordan qualified for their first ever FIFA World Cup, for the 23rd FIFA World Cup. So, so these are things that are adding on. Like, yes, I started with the 23. Clearly, Michael Jordan is significant to this World Cup. The first World Cup that Jordan qualifies for. And Jordan is tied into Michael Jordan, Air Jordan, Royal Jordanian Air. They actually tied in even more. I've given a few examples, but they actually Royal Air Jordanian and Air Jordan, Michael Jordan are actually tied, and the Chicago Bulls are tied in more closely. Air Jordan has been invisible in soccer until they signed with PSG. That was the only soccer contract that Air Jordan had, which is Paris Saint-Germain. But I figured Jordan was winning the Super Bowls with Air Jordan ritual. I figured that the Paris Saint-Germain would win the Champions League, which is like the Super Bowl of soccer. It's annual. It's the tournament of champions for European teams. That's where all the money is. That's where all the best players play in Europe. The European Champions League. I figured they would win it. I didn't do a decode on it. No, I just mentioned it in the comment section with some of the patrons. And they did. They won the 2025 Champions League. This is the team that wears Air Jordan. Now they didn't wear this is called the Jumpman logo for Air Jordan. So Paris Saint-Germain, they'll wear the Jumpman logo for some of their warm-ups and for their road jerseys. But when they reach the Champions League and at home, they wear the Nike swoosh. But don't if you see the Nike swoosh, don't forget that they have an Air Jordan brand. So you can forget if all you see is the swoosh, you don't see the Jordan. They have the Jordan brand. So I figured, you know what? I think PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, they probably, if they're quoted with Jordan this closely, it's a good chance they'll three-peat. In 2026, Paris Saint-Germain won the second consecutive Champions League, European Champions League. So they've won 2 in a row. What do you think is going to happen in 2027? I'm not encouraging people to bet. I don't bet. I don't know. This Air Jordan thing looks pretty strong. And what is Jordan?
You heard it here first, and I know Rambo. You have mentioned it in a few episodes past, but not. I mean that's a great point. PSG on the doorstep to possibly three-peat. I think I took the words out of your mouth.
That's right.
Jordan three-peated twice, right?
Yeah.
You know, he kind of started three-peating before three-peats were a thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, thanks. Also, the last time you said that, you heard it here first. Remember, that was when I talked about the NBA playoffs when Wemby was all the rage, and everybody thought that the West, whoever wins the West, will win the NBA title because the West looks so much stronger.
Yep.
I remember, I did a different decode than some other. I mean, other decoders did have the Knicks winning, but I came from a different angle. I go more from symbolism. And remember, I did the underdog thing and how it tied into Men in Black and the Alien.
Men in Black,
and
yep, exactly.
The green and yellow exterminators truck headed towards New York City. And I said, no, that is indicating New York were a pretty big underdog, significant underdog. Because Wemby looked invincible, and the West just looked so much stronger than whether it would have been the Oklahoma City Thunder or the Spurs. And the Thunder had an unbelievable record. They had Bulls level record. Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan era a level record this season. They looked invincible, and then when Wemby led the Spurs over the Thunder, it looked like, well, whoever wins the West is going to win the title. Well, I appreciate that. You said you heard it here first. I said then no. I'm looking at symbolism more and the colors and the green and yellow and the Men in Black and the Alien. I said no. This is indicating an underdog because New York City has the underdog mayor.
Right. Well, yeah. We were talking about Mondami being sworn in a subway, and you know, I mean, it goes back to the subway sandwich throwing story, wasn't that? In New York
that's where I started. Yes, that's where it
all started.
Yeah, with the green and yellow. Then all these upsets started happening with green and yellow, and because some subway sandwich fairs are green and yellow. So
what was your 62 connection again?
The 62 connection was that Jordan is 62.
Okay.
In the in ordinal, and if I'll just go to Wikipedia. Super Bowl. Yeah, whatever. What was the last Super Bowl? It was 60.
Yeah, 60. It was 60. Yeah.
No, what about LX? Sorry. LX, sorry, I did it around. Oh, wait, no, 59. 60 was this year.
Yeah.
It was 59, sorry. So here you go. This is between the Eagles and Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
There's a total of 62 points. So,
okay, got it.
So Jalen Hurts was wearing the Air Jordan 1s at this Super Bowl. And here, the Air Jordan 1s. He was debuting. Yep. They hadn't been released yet.
Yeah.
So he came up with the latest edition of Air Jordan 1s.
Yeah.
And for Super Bowl 60, he put up 40 points. It was the 40th anniversary of Air Jordan at the time for a total of 62 points. And so Michael Jordan actually turned that year, 2025, he turned 62. So he's 63 now.
Okay.
But he turned 62 that year. So shortly after the Super Bowl, he turned 62.
Okay.
When Jordan is 62. When his shoes are being debuted in the Super Bowl and 62 points are put up total.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was the 62.
Okay, yeah, I know. I know you touched on it already, and I commented the last stream. But Jordan's second three-peat being at the Delta Center, as you said, like the Delta Airlines flight, and the Karl Malone. I know he's 62 right now, and his nickname was the Mailman, and you can deliver mail through the air. So that was okay.
Yeah, like airmail. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the mailman right now is 62 years old, and he played at the Delta Center.
It's funny you say that too, with what happened with the UPS plane crash. Just add that to that plane crash story from last year as well. Mail delivering packages. You kind of got that overlap too.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, that is that's a good point with Malone and the Delta Center being the that's the location of his sixth ring, his second three-peat. So Michael Jordan is associated with three-peats.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not everybody here follows sports that much, so we don't take for granted. So three-peat is like a repeat, but three. So you win three in a row. And Michael Jordan won a total of 6 rings, championship with the Chicago Bulls, but it was 3 separate three-peats. So just clarifying for some people who might not everyone necessarily knows this.
Yeah.
So this is why when Paris Saint-Germain signed with Air Jordan, which was invisible in soccer, is zero. Air Jordan did not touch soccer at all.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Its first foray into soccer is through Paris Saint-Germain. That's when I saw with all this Jordan stuff going on, the Super Bowl and the 62 and the plane flipping on runway 23 on his 62nd birthday. There's way too much Jordan stuff going on. This is the only team that wears Air Jordan. I did not do a Super Bowl. I did not do a decode on it, but I did mention it to some patrons. I think PSG will, and granted, I said it late in the Champions League. It's not like I said it before the Champions League. Just to be fair, I didn't say it before the Champions League started, but nonetheless, I think it's fine late. I think at that point where I said no, I think PSG is going to win it because of this Jordan stuff. They have a Jordan contract, the first ever in soccer, and they did win it. But then this year, I was thinking, you know what? If Jordan is known for the three-peat, I bet they three-peat. So they won this year, which did tie into the NBA championship because Wembanyama of the San Antonio Spurs, who's all the rage. I think he'd probably be MVP of the league. I think he most likely,
agree.
Yeah, he probably will be MVP. But he's still the Knicks won, but he's still considered. He's the future of the NBA. He's going to be the face of the league now, and he's only improving. And his height and it's unprecedented athleticism for somebody that tall.
Yeah.
That's unless Oliver has something to say about it. Remember we talked about that last week, Myron. I'm not sure if you caught it, but with the Oliver Tree death, alien boy, right? You know, he dies right after Wemby, the alien, loses to the Knicks. But there's this player who apparently is like 4 inches taller than Wemby.
Oh my God!
and his name is Oliver.
Oh, we'll hear about him real soon.
Yeah. There's a referee in the World Cup, very famous, probably the most famous English referee and Premier League referee. He also referees Champions League games. He's an elite referee. His name is Michael Oliver. So that's another big Oliver. It's a referee.
Okay.
So if
and Cody mentioned there's an Oliver right on Brazil. So think about that. Oliver Tree dies in Brazil. Cody, what was the name of that player? That was his last name, right?
Yeah, but that's Junior. That's their star player. Vinicius, or how do you say that?
Vinicius Junior. Yeah.
Vinicius. Yeah. He.
That's him right here.
Not only is he the star player, I mean, he was. I mean, Oliver Queen was wearing, or not Oliver Queen. Oliver Tree was wearing the Brazil jersey and celebrating with the trophy in his last video. And again, the star player of Brazil's last name is literally Olive Tree. That's what his last name means. So
okay, and this is the Jordan brand team, correct?
So this is the thing, just to clarify. So Jordan had been invisible in soccer, completely not touch soccer. For the first time it signed a contract with I'll show this here. Adjust the screen. So Jordan signed a contract, the first ever contract in soccer was with Paris Saint-Germain. The reason I brought up Wemby is because he grew up actually attending games of Paris Saint-Germain. So he's not just one of these celebrities, they'll just attach to a team. Not supposedly Sydney Sweeney's a Knicks fan. I mean, come on. That's a joke. But no, Wemby, celebrities, but politicians will do it too. But no, he's a real Paris Saint-Germain fan. He grew up in the neighborhood and he attended games as a kid. So this is Paris Saint-Germain with their Jumpman, $105. Look at that for this is their latest road jerseys. Now, for the home jerseys, they wear the swoosh, but they wear Air Jordan. Now, this is a team from Paris, from the French leagues. Ligue 1 is what it's called. This is Paris Saint-Germain. This is their logo, the Eiffel Tower logo, with the Jumpman. So they're the the best team in France, Paris Saint-Germain. They win the French league every year, pretty much. So one horse race. And so the World Cup is for national teams. So this is Air Jordan's first foray into soccer was for this team. They also hadn't made, they made gear, the clothing, but they hadn't made the shoes like they do with football, the Air Jordan 1s, as well as obviously high tops.
Right.
They had not done it with soccer shoes until now. So this Jordan stuff is expanding. So this is their first, now this is their second soccer contract, but this is a national team. PSG is a club team who I think they're going to three-peat because of the Jordan. They won 2 in a row, which I figured this year. I think they're going to three-peat. It means they have to win it this year. It's tied into the New York Mayor Mamdani because he's a little off the topic, but anyway, this is Wemby's league right now. This is Wemby. The Knicks won. The future belongs to Wemby. He's the face of the NBA going forward. So the Knicks have had their moment. Wemby will have a lot more moments. He's the face of the league. He's the biggest commercial draw. He's a freak of nature. 7'4", very comfortably taking 3-point shots. He scored a 3-point shot from half court in the playoffs. His coordination, his dribbling is unseen for somebody 7'4". Like you've never seen anyone with that kind of coordination at 7'4".
Right.
Usually a 7'4", you haven't even seen people that. I mean, Manute Bol was like 7'6". You don't want them dribbling. They're going to lose the ball. Now, he could dribble. You've never seen that before. That's why he's kind of seen as the alien, something non-human. He's the face of the team. But PSG is his team, so he's directly connected. He grew up watching that team. He grew up going to games in the stadiums. He's a real fan, so he's not one of those celebrities who just attached to a fan. It's done for marketing reasons,
right?
To promote a sport. That's why they're doing it. For the most part, you need a Hollywood associated with because Hollywood stars and musicians are typically bigger stars. They are, but for the most part, bigger than athletes. Yeah. Musicians and actors are the biggest stars. So to promote a league, you want a star saying, "Oh, I'm a fan of such and such a team." Yeah, that's what he's done for commercial reasons. No, Wemby really is a PSG fan. He went to games as a kid. So he's connected directly. This is the first national team and the second contract for Air Jordan. I could have done this for the last World Cup, but why couldn't they have done it then? Because that would have been the 22nd World Cup, and this is about Jordan. He wore 23. So it's the 23rd World Cup where you see Brazil sign with Air Jordan, the Jumpman logo.
Got it.
You'll see how deeper this goes with Brazil. So there's a lot of Brazil coding.
Yeah.
KODI's done a great job coding both Brazil and Netherlands. Those are the two codes. KODI has done like a better job than anyone, especially showing the Netherlands stuff. The two teams that seem to be, again, we're not going just by, how people who know sports analyze it from a sports perspective, from their skills and, tactics. That's not how we're looking at it.
Right.
We're looking at, the zodiac and stars and Sirius and symbolism. Mythology. Okay, but the coding for Netherlands and Brazil is strongest than for any other teams that I've seen. I mean, there's still be other teams. I still see some English stuff, but Brazil and Netherlands are just.
I've got
most of the codes. Yeah,
I've got an absolutely ridiculous numerical connection to show later with the Netherlands that I found in addition to this that just makes me. I actually posted it in our chat, in our elders chat. I don't know if you saw. Maybe you saw it, Rambo, but it's very wild how perfect this date duration from the King of Netherlands. The King of Netherlands was actually at the game for the Netherlands this weekend in Houston. And it was all tied to the astronauts. They were there too. The astronauts. And I already talked about this. The astronauts from the Artemis, they wear the orange, right? And the one game they decided to have the astronauts show up at in the whole, I think it's the only game the astronauts, Reed Wiseman and Victor, what's his name? Victor Glover. The only game that they were scheduled to show up at that I can find is the Netherlands versus Sweden game. And it was perfectly synced up with the King of Netherlands being there. And again, all the stuff I already talked about, which I'll touch on it later if I have time. But I just wanted to throw it in there that I found just even more stuff that's just ridiculous with the Netherlands, but also some crazy Cristiano Ronaldo stuff connected to Ronald Reagan. I mean, this goes deep and connected with the coach of Netherlands, whose name is Ronald. Actually, I think the biggest theme that I found that's blowing my mind is the Ronald stuff, because it's clearly what's going on with Ronaldo and Ronald from the Netherlands. So,
yeah, great stuff, man.
Nice.
So this is Air Jordan is expanding, and they're expanding into soccer. They're expanding big time, and it's the 23rd World Cup. Remember, the country of Jordan, it's their first ever World Cup, and it's the 23rd World Cup.
Okay, I'm
Which
following.
isn't even the first. It's not the first association between the country of Jordan soccer team and Michael Jordan. At the most recent, that was 2 years ago. They had the Asia Cup. It's every 4 years. That's for the championship of just Asia, which the Middle East is considered Asia for the soccer region. Jordan, it started to improve. It's never a very good soccer team. They reached the final of the Asian Cup, but they defeated the best team in Asia at the time. The team which has been the best team in Asia for decades, which is South Korea. For decades and decades, South Korea has been the number one Asian team. Not anymore. Now it's Japan, but it has always been South Korea. When Jordan upset South Korea in the semifinal of the Asian Cup, South Korea was ranked 23rd in the world, and Jordan upset them. So this is not the first time. So it's not a surprise that it's the 23rd World Cup when Jordan makes her first qualification. The Jordanian national team has been tied into Jordan and this Sirius symbolism for a while, and there's more to that as well. So again, so Brazil wearing Air Jordan for the 23rd World Cup, and this is a promo of. So this is their road jersey again. So their iconic, which is the most iconic jersey in all of sports, home jersey, which is yellow, has the swoosh, but their warm-ups and their road jersey, which is what this is, has the Jumpman logo of Michael Jordan. So this is the clincher. I guess everybody knows it now, but wait. Before I do that, this is interesting. They're really so music is very. This is not just us. You know how we'll take a sports event and then say, oh, this is connected to some movie from 1970, which is connected to, some actor who acted. I mean, some song that was released. No, well, they are doing it, mixing soccer, sports, with popular culture, with music. So what's happened at the World Cup is that whenever a team scores a goal, some teams have not scored a goal, but whenever a team scores a goal, FIFA asked teams to give them a song that they would like to represent their country with when they score a goal. So sometimes very often you can't hear it because the crowd is so loud after a goal is scored. But there's music blaring over the sound system when a goal is scored. It's kind of like an anthem for the team. So each team submitted a song to be played over the loudspeakers when a goal is scored. It's kind of like their national team. And all 48 teams, there are 48 teams total, have a song. And again, you don't always hear the song because the crowd is so loud, but take note of every time a goal is scored, think of the song. Now, the United States is very interesting. I already talked about this with the Olympics. The ice hockey team, the U.S. men's ice hockey team and the U.S. women's ice hockey team, who both won gold, they just mirrored each other. They both won gold, defeating Canada 2-1 in the gold medal game. For the United States, they did this in the Winter Olympics. They chose the song "Freebird" by Lynyrd Skynyrd to be played over the sound system when they score a goal, but also after the game, after they win, they'll play it. So they'll play it after the team scored, but if the team wins the game, they'll play the song again at the end of the game as a celebration. So teams chose that. United States chose "Freebird" by Lynyrd Skynyrd for the Winter Olympics. They chose the same song they're continuing for the World Cup. So this is an article, World Cup 2026, the 48 goal song playlist heard in stadiums. FIFA has revealed the songs chosen by each country to play every time they score a goal. Again, they also play at the end of the game if the team won as well. So there's a lot of coding here. and music is big. So what is really, so here's, if you can see it, this is alphabetical order. This alphabetical order in the United States is 46th alphabetical order. United States, Freebird by Leonard Skinner. That's the same song they chose for the Olympics in hockey for both the men and women. I just find it interesting that you choosing that same song. So there's, believe me, there is a lot of symbolism in this, which I have decodes coming up. Hopefully I can solve the live streaming thing. Otherwise, I'll just have to do a regular decode. But I'm confident I'll put this out. I have decoded these songs, especially Freebird. Also, shout out to BPM, one of my great patrons. He's the first one to point out that Freebird was being used at the Winter Olympics. I actually found out from him, BPM. Shout out to him that they were using Freebird at the Winter Olympics. Well, they're using it again at the World Cup. Now, this is in relation to the Jumpman logo. It's called the Jumpman. I don't know if I got a graphic on that, but the logo is officially referred to as Jumpman. Okay, I didn't have a. Or let's see, Jumpman, just to confirm, Jumpman. And I've been talking about Van Halen and Jump and how that's Donald Trump. Jumpman logo, that's what it's called officially. The Jumpman logo is a silhouette of basketball player Michael Jordan. It was crafted by Nike shoe designer Peter Moore. Out of curiosity, Peter Moore, what's it, February 21st, April 29th? Oregon. Okay, just out of curiosity. With Jordan recreating the pose from a magazine photo, the logo is owned by Nike to promote Air Jordan. So this is the official name of it, is Jumpman. So why did I bring that up? Because South Korea, who I told up to now has been the dominant Asian team, their anthem is Jump. And remember what I said, when South Korea was upset by Jordan, this was Jordan's first step up in world soccer, when they defeated South Korea in the Asian Championships 2 years ago. In the semifinal, it was a huge upset. South Korea were ranked 23rd when Jordan upset them. And now their song for the 23rd World Cup is Jump, which is a direct Michael Jordan reference because his logo is the Jumpman. So this ties right into this anthem for the World Cup. It's very interesting to look at all the different anthems for the team. Now, there is another team I talked about before, which is Ivory Coast. They have their anthem, which is quite a jam. I actually like, that's actually my favorite jam, is the Ivory Coast one. The song is called Coup de Marteau. That's French for hammer blow. Coup de Marteau, hammer blow, which makes me think of the legend of Hiram Abiff. I mean, we know who invented soccer, who invents almost everything in this world. It's Freemasonry. The legend of Hiram Abiff. Hiram Abiff is killed by the blow of a hammer. There's a deep symbolism in that. People want, they can look into that. I mean, Freemasons will put up plenty of explanations as to what those symbols mean. People can look that up. Soccer was actually invented at Freemasons Tavern across the street from the unofficial headquarters of Freemasonry, which is Freemasons Hall, Great Queen Street in London. Right across the street is where football soccer was invented, at Freemasons Tavern. So when you think so, and this is worldwide. Their Cote d'Ivoire, which is Ivory Coast of Africa, West Africa, their theme is called Hammer Blow. It translated to Hammer Blow in English. It's called Coup de Marteau. And I looked at the video for Coup de Marteau. It's a song that came out some years back. And so this is so it have people in different jerseys. It's a soccer anthem. This is the Ivory Coast jersey, the orange. I'll talk about the orange last week. Ivory Coast. They're nicknamed the Elephants. And this is a still shot from the video for their anthem song, and it's soccer oriented. This is their national team soccer jersey, but they have the soccer jerseys of other African countries as well in the video. They have, if you see the whole video, there's Nigeria, there's what looks like Cameroon, Senegal jerseys. These are all soccer jerseys from other African countries in the video. It's like a Congo jersey. This is soccer oriented. It came out several years, but there's something here which is not soccer oriented. If you look in the video, it's a Bulls 23. Kind of out of place. What do you think? It's all soccer oriented, African soccer oriented, but yet there it is. It's a still. I looked at the video, and then when I saw this, like, it's not really clear in the video, but in the background there's that Bulls 23. Why is that in an African soccer video? A video that's celebrating African soccer national teams, particularly Ivory Coast, but there it is.
That's a wild catch right there, Rambo.
Yeah, just like KODI pointed out in the Netherlands moon landing video, there's a Michael Jordan video. Why is Michael Jordan showing up time and time again? Jordan's huge. I know Kobe is huge, and this community has, rightfully so, decoded. I almost said decoded KODI, decoded Kobe. Jordan's huge. You can't. No, Jordan's is bigger than Kobe because he is serious. If you understand the importance of the star Sirius, Jordan's bigger than Kobe. Yes, Kobe is relevant. Also, the hammer also does relate to Kobe. Kobe was born on Vulcanalia, which is the 23rd of August, and Vulcan, the symbol of Vulcan is the hammer. But that's the Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire. That's their anthem, coup de marteau, hammer blow. To me, that goes straight to the legend of Hiram Abiff, which is metaphorical. Who's killed? He's the architect of Solomon's Temple. He's killed just before he's about to complete the project. He's killed by a hammer blow by Jubileum. But that's something people should look into themselves for decoding. That's very important. Going back to the Jumpman logo, and Korea's anthem is Jump, which ties right into it. This is related to a story again. This goes back to Brazil, who have the Jumpman logo now. What just happened in Brazil? A woman plummets to her death after bungee jump. Staff allegedly forgot, because that's what you do. Yeah, we forgot to attach. I mean, come on, really? A safety cord, which is just a ridiculous story. If you see the area, it's very remote, and I suspect it's also a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy theory. My conspiracy theory, because this is an abandoned bridge. It's not an active. You can see it's in complete disrepair. Look at how remote it is. There are no witnesses, but there's video of it. I suspect my conspiracy theory is that she didn't actually die. I mean, you won't see her again. I mean, if you're her family, you'll never see her again, because I believe this is a ritual. It's a representation of a death. And I suspect that it's so remote that there are no witnesses. If there are ways you can do that. If there's a net that she landed on, it's so remote nobody would see it. You'll just see the story after the fact. But yeah, I mean, yeah, like anybody forgets to attach a bungee cord, you just throw her over with. But it's a ritual. It's very important. The ritual is what's most important. But to some people if it's just a ritual, she didn't actually die. If many people who don't know that, who were attached to her, they will feel the grief. Because they'll never see her again. But nonetheless, this is an important ritual. But look at when it happened. 6 people have been arrested in connection with Maria Eduarda Rodriguez de Freitas's fatal fall on June 13th. So she falls from a jump. Remember who the Jumpman logo is on Brazil's Jumpman logo in Brazil? You have a jump story on June 13th. Well, Brazil were playing on that day, June 13th, against Morocco. So, I mean, it's all coincidence that this Brazil, who wear the Jumpman logo, play on June 13th. And on that day in Brazil, there's a jump-related incident. I don't think it's coincidence. It's all part of a grand ritual.
Rambo, really quick, if I can just add in here, I think it's something we talked about last week. I made a comment about been seeing a lot more like Marias lately.
Yes.
And Maria was the name of that woman who was reportedly thrown off the bridge, right? Yep. Well, just for the record, the owner of the dog Jameson that we talked about, wearing the Knicks shirt, the owner's name is Maria. And I wanted to say there was another Maria story that I stumbled upon just over the last week or two. I've noticed a lot more Marias lately. I just wanted to throw that in there.
That is a great observation. So there's so much to do here to decode, and these anthem things are huge. And I'm really glad you mentioned that
Okay.
because guess
good.
what? Take a wild guess what the name of the German anthem is.
Maria.
Okay, let's see. Maria. German.
No way, you guys. Oh my god.
World. I mean, I have a whole decode on the anthems, on the music. It's Maria. Music has emerged.
How does this happen?
Wait, let me get the anthem list. 2026 World Cup.
This is ridiculously crazy with my organic code here. You know, my GF's name is what? And she's from where?
Let's see. Is there a list here? Every World Cup nation's goal. Okay. Every World Cup nation's personalized goal song revealed. Okay, where's the list here? All right, so apparently it's not revealed on this channel.
You were looking for it. Wait, hold on. Scroll down. But which we're looking for is Germany.
I don't see the list. It's revealed. It's
hold on. Keep going.
No, this goes now. The World
Right
Cup
there.
goal songs listed for competing songs. Oh no, Germany's Major Tom. I'm sorry. Okay, I think it's Austria.
Austria. Okay.
England, Germany, France, Scotland, Wales, Brazil, Argentina. That's not much of a list, is it? No. All right. It's Austria, I think. 2026 World Cup. I'll just put Austria. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Austria's official goal anthem for the 2026 World Cup is Maria. By the German. So the group is German. That's how I got confused. It's actually German. It's a song by a German group. That's what got me confused.
Got it.
I have more. If actually you see the video, it's German. It's called Scooter.
You know what's creepy is that there's a photo of, or there's some sort of pose that Oliver Tree has done. You know, kind of like Tupac style back in the day, where he's crucified against a scooter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Scooter is part of that cycle symbolism again. The
Yeah,
cycles,
exactly.
the bicycle. I can go on and on with the bicycles. I brought up how much I brought up the bicycle. Is the blazing star an important symbol? Yes. The shining star are the twin pillars? Yes. That the all-seeing eye? Yes. I've said it. If you want to know what's the symbol at the center of the web, is the cycle. More than any other symbol, that is it. It's the cycle. That's what the scooter is. It's the chariot. The bicycle or the scooter. In fact, there's also a so I mean, I could just get sidetracked on the anthem thing, but just to give an idea.
I mean, really quick, I just want to say it's symbolically, right? Remember, Maria was thrown off this bridge, pretty much laid out like what Cody's talked about, the Christ the Redeemer statue. And then Rambo, if you can just do me a favor here, just type in Oliver Tree scooter. It should pop up. Yeah, so like, you know, it's part of it's part of one of these music videos he's done. If you see on that second row, like there's, I don't know if that's the cover of the album, but you can see him. You see how he's like crucified against a scooter.
Right.
So like, you know, his arms are spread out just like Maria.
Wow, that is
you see what I'm saying? Like
that's some really powerful symbolism. Trying to see if I can get a bigger picture of it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's enough to see right there.
Idea, yeah, wow, that is
Like that's exactly how Maria was posed as she was being thrown off the bridge. And just for the record, this was the same day that the Knicks won the championship, the same day that Jameson was shot and killed. The following day was when we had the reported death of Oliver Tree on Trump's birthday. But yeah, wow, man. So this the Maria thing. Here you go.
So that is I made the mistake. The group is German, but they are Austria's anthem. This is Austria's anthem is Maria, and I have more on it. I mean, it's a separate. I don't focus on the Jordan stuff just here, but there's so much.
Oh my God, I have to throw this in there. It just makes me. Whenever I think of Austria, I think of Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Right. The Austrian oak. Well, what's one of his most popular lines? Get in the chopper.
Yeah. Yeah. But again,
you know what I mean?
The cycle again. So the rotor.
Right.
The cycle.
Right.
Right.
I mean, I say that mainly because of Oliver Tree dying in the helicopter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. But anyways, I'm sorry.
So this is Maria. This is Maria. And that's the anthem for Austria. There's so much coded into these. And I talked about the Ivory Coast, the video for their anthem, and there's a Jordan jersey out of place in the middle of all these African soccer jerseys. It's not that prominent. You kind of need to look for it. I mean, it just, I see that just bang. It just stood out. It flashes a couple times in the background. They sneak that Jordan thing in there. Cody showed how the Jordan showed up in the Netherlands promotional video. But yeah, this is the Jumpman logo. Jump is Korea's anthem. You gotta look for these anthems. Then Maria jumps on the day that Brazil from this remote look. And there's the chopper, like you said, the chopper from Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
So you had Austria, Maria, the chopper. This is just, I got it from People magazine. That's the Austrian. And on that day, Brazil happens to play. But Morocco's flag is very interesting because it's a pentagram. The pentagram can be a symbol of either Venus or Sirius. And so they played against the pentagram. It can be a Sirius symbol. And on that day, Brazil. And this is the anthem, the video for the anthem, which this song actually came out like 6 years ago. It didn't come up before this World Cup. So think of how far back they do this. This song is 6 years old, but that Bulls jersey was there in that 6 years ago. So just to illustrate how prominent Jordan's been, he has the racing team. He owns a NASCAR racing team, a 2311. That's Jordan's. Well, he won the biggest race in American, motor racing.
And that's why his White Sox later would then go in and improve to 23-11 at home several weeks later in baseball.
Yeah, that's a great connection. Yeah. The Daytona 500, Tyler Reddick gives Michael Jordan 23-11 momentous win. So Jordan has been winning. So I'm going back since the Super Bowl, since his shoes are promoted by Jalen Hurts. Of course, the person promoting his shoes has to win. It was the 40th anniversary of Air Jordan. He puts up his offense puts up 40 points, 62 points are scored total. Jordan is 62 in gematria. It was his 62nd birthday shortly after the Super Bowl. Air Jordan, the reference to the airplane, the Delta airline flips upside down on runway 23 on his 22nd birthday. And as Myron pointed out, it was the Delta Center where he won his final and sixth ring. All that's been happening. And all his 23rd World Cup. And before that, now his racing team wins the biggest prize in racing, which is the Daytona 500. So yeah, Jordan is PSG wins 2 in a row. I even forgot that. The one soccer club team that wears his Air Jordan wins 2 in a row. Champions League, which is the Super Bowl of soccer. I think they're going to three-peat in 2027. I'm not asking people to bet, but it looks like.
But you heard it here first.
They're going to. Yeah,
we'll go back to this next year.
I mean, not that betting PSG will really get you great odds. PSG are, everybody who knows soccer, this is undebatable. It's literally undebatable. The best club team in the world. Their talent is off the charts on that team. It's an undisputed best team in soccer at the club level is PSG. So betting them is not going to get you great odds, but it looks like they're going to three-peat. But that's what happens when you get the Jordan brand.
But I always say, but like Myron, for example, I know that you dabble every once in a while. I mean, would you rather have higher odds but it doesn't hit, or lower odds and it hits? I mean,
always underdog.
like, hey, the value and the odds are, I mean, they're lucrative, but to Rambo's point, I mean, they are expected to essentially three-peat next year. Yes.
Yeah, because by far they have the most talented team. The whole soccer world, people who know soccer know it's not disputed. It's not like a close, like debatable. There's no debate. They are the most talented club team in soccer. So they're expected to, and they're the favorites. And plus, it's a one-horse race in France, so you don't even bother betting in France. Just don't even, I mean, bet $1 million to win $100 or so. I don't know. And this is an example. It's Michael Jordan after winning the Daytona 500 this year, and compared to when he this is right after his dad died, so it was really emotional for him. And his dad died in a car. It was a carjacking. The car is the chariot. Again, the chariot is the wheel, the scooter, the bicycle, the Ferris wheel, the rotors of a helicopter. That is the most central symbol. That's the symbol of all symbols, more important and central to all symbols. It is the number one symbol, is the chariot, because the chariot is about the wheel and turning. And there is the chariot. And the chariot card in tarot represents the zodiac sign of Cancer. And in the tropical zodiac, the star Sirius is at 14 degrees Cancer. Sirius is in Cancer, and Cancer is the chariot. So you see how that connects with him. And he's the GOAT, number 23, greatest of all time. So there are many GOATs, like soccer has its GOATs, and there are other GOATs. Muhammad Ali actually started, they didn't use the GOAT term, but he actually started it because he's the one who kept saying, I am the greatest. And that's where GOAT came from, greatest of all time. It actually started with Muhammad Ali, who's a Capricorn, whose symbol is the GOAT. Victor Wembanyama is a Capricorn. There are a lot of Capricorns who are manifesting here. But 23, the GOAT, that's Michael Jordan. He's the GOAT. He's the one American athlete that has eclipsed soccer stars. Usually the top soccer players are the biggest athletes in the world and most recognizable athletes in the world. You can't top soccer. One American athlete has done that, and that's Michael Jordan. He's the GOAT. So right now it's Messi, who's the current GOAT of soccer, and Ronaldo he's up there. He actually should be considered, but Messi has been overshadowing him, and this World Cup is really interesting. They're both old, so this is their last dance. I'll talk about the last dance. Messi turns tomorrow. I don't know if it's 12 o'clock yet. On the 24th, Lionel Messi turns 39 years old. Ronaldo's already 41 years old. So this is their last dance of the two GOATs of soccer. And that's another Michael Jordan reference to the 23rd World Cup. This is about the GOAT. It's about the last dance. Do you think if this is about the GOAT and the last dance, by any chance, they'd have the two GOATs of soccer meet, Messi and Ronaldo? Of course they do. If you look at I'll show it later, the brackets, of course they've made them meet together. This is coded with Michael Jordan and the GOAT and the last dance, which I'll go into what the last dance is for those who are not familiar. Of course they had to meet each other. So just another indication of the significance of Michael Jordan's symbolism. He's from North Carolina, where he grew up. North Carolina's basketball team just won the NHL title, who are the Carolina Panthers. And they wear red and black. They wear the Bulls colors. And who is their MVP? Jordan Staal. So Jordan wins for Jordan's home state, Carolina, in the NHL. This is shortly before the World Cup, or is it during the World Cup? Yeah, during the World Cup. It was during the World Cup. From home, is his home team wearing Chicago Bulls colors, red and black, and their MVP is named Jordan.
And really quick, Rambo, for what it's worth, the University of North Carolina, where Michael Jordan went, they were in the World Cup. They were in the College World Series final. They ended up losing to the Oklahoma Sooners. But I just wanted to point out that UNC, at least in college baseball, they were in the World Series. And shout out to whoever it was in the chat earlier. We were talking about Karl Malone, the mailman, and Michael Jordan. Myron, don't forget you have Michael Malone, who's the head coach now with UNC basketball.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to throw that in there. But yeah.
And yeah, look at his age. Jordan Stahl, MVP for Carolina Panthers, they're red and black, wins the Conn Smythe Trophy as playoff MVP. Oldest on record at 37. So he's the oldest ever NHL playoff MVP at 37. Jordan equals 37 in reverse Pythagorean. And his name is, it's all about Jordan this year. And going back last year, I don't know when this is going to end. It's going on. It's,
Yeah.
So this is the significance of Michael Jordan. It has more to do with the significance of the star Sirius. It's a sacred star, going back probably since the beginning of civilization. And people can debate, what does that mean? People can debate the cosmos. Some people say space doesn't exist. You can go the scientific route that says, you know, it's a star which is, you know, a gazillion miles away, and it's pretty much a ball of gas. If you look at the significance of Sirius, regardless, it is more than a ball of gas. Even if, whether it's symbolic or whatever, the star Sirius is a lot more than a ball of gas. Some people believe that there is life in the Sirius star system. And with this now UAP disclosure from the United States government, who's saying craft UFOs do exist, made by intelligent beings from other planets. The United States government, which people who've been looking into this and studying this have been saying that this is a fact for a long time, that the United States government has the craft and has some beings alive and some bodies, that they actually have them. And now the United States government has admitted and said, yes, we do have them, which is unprecedented. Going forward, this will actually turn everything on its head, from mythology to history. You have to rewrite mythology, and it has to do with the world as a whole, energy, because now you have anti-gravity technology, which means you don't need oil anymore, and that's thousands and thousands of trillions of dollars will be lost when anti-gravity technology is introduced. That's why I focus a lot on this UFO, UAP, ET thing, because it changes literally. There's no aspect of life which is not touched by this. So what they have to establish, is whatever they show the public, if they do, there has to be incontrovertible proof that this really is a being from another planet, because what they haven't told you, which has to be part of the disclosure, is that they've replicated a variety of beings, which are not, they're man-made, but they're brilliant. If you see them, and some people have seen them, Steven Spielberg has seen them. This is according to Stephen Greer, who's done the most independent research on UFOs. He has all this clearance, and he can talk to Steven Spielberg and people in the government. Stephen Greer has dedicated his last 30 years to it, but he's not part of the government. He said that Steven Spielberg was given a demonstration of a fake extraterrestrial entity to discourage him from ever doing a movie like E.T., because they don't like the fact that he portrayed E.T.s as loving and benevolent and spiritually evolved. And they do not want extraterrestrials to be portrayed that way. And according to Stephen Greer, he spoke to Steven Spielberg's son. So he's getting it from Steven Spielberg's son, who said, yes, they did send Steven Spielberg a very stern warning. And of course, so Steven Spielberg got the message, because his next E.T. UFO movie was War of the Worlds, which was not to be confused with the original War of the Worlds by Orson Welles. No, H.G. Wells. Orson Welles actually orated it on the radio. It was H.G. Wells wrote War of the Worlds, but Steven Spielberg did War of the Worlds, and he made aliens look, ETs, threatening. That's because that's the message they sent him. They told him, don't you ever do a movie like E.T. ever again, because you don't portray them as spiritually evolved and loving and benevolent as E.T. was. Drew Barrymore, that was her first movie as a child, and she kissed E.T. on the nose. That is not what they want. And I think she did that spontaneously as a child. You do a child actress is going to see a prop like E.T. She's going to talk to it like it's a real person. That's how children are. And I think she spontaneously, that wasn't scripted. She spontaneously kissed E.T. on the nose, so they left it in. And they don't want that perception of extraterrestrials. So what is very important is that they reveal that the United States government, probably other governments, but at least the United States government, does have craft that can do things that nobody's seen before. Teleport, go from one end of the sky to the other, like from horizon to horizon in the blink of an eye, do 90-degree turns. They have craft that can do it. They haven't admitted. So they're admitting they have ET craft. They're not admitting that the United States government and private corporations who use government funds, the taxpayer funds, have made these craft that can do it. They have to admit that. And they have to admit that they actually have artificial ETs that look real. The reason that's very important is because whenever they do reveal whatever they reveal, the public has to ask, is this the real thing? Or is this one of your replicas that you've made that are identical or super realistic? They have to admit that they have those, which Stephen Greer, I think, has done the best work, but you can make up your mind. So many people have talked about it, or you can decide not to bother with it. That's fine. This is an important issue, but that has to come out. The fact that they have fake UFOs that can do what UFOs do, that no known craft can do. So when you see it, you're going to swear, okay, that can only be a UFO. No, it isn't. It's a man-made UFO that, aerial craft that they have replicated. And the beings, if they show you a being, they've replicated or come up with their own beings that look real. You will swear you are looking at this strange, unearthly being that's talking and acting. It is mind-boggling. They haven't shown the public that, but you have to know that they've made those. So when they reveal it, ask them, okay, prove to us that that's not one of your brilliant inventions and not the real thing. But anyway, this is an important issue because it turns everything on its head. So one of the things people re-examine is astronomy. And in this community, yes, people have challenged astronomy all the time. So one of the things you do have to challenge now is they've been saying there is no life in these star systems, while people in some parts of the truth community, and you could say spiritual community as well, have said no, life forms do exist in some of these star systems. Sirius is one of them. The beings there that some people have believed do exist they call them Syrians. Some people believe that there are beings that exist in the Pleiadian star system. They call them Pleiadians. Syrians, Pleiadians. But science and astronomy will say, no, these star systems cannot harbor any kind of intelligent life. Well, with this ET reveal, the government saying, yes, they exist. Now you do have to look back now. You have to question astronomy like you have to question everything else, the energy industry and everything. Does the Sirius star system actually harbor intelligent life after all? And the secret societies do have some of that knowledge, whether they choose to reveal it or not. So some of what you're seeing now, like why is the U.S. government, after 80 years of saying ETs and UFOs don't exist and they don't have evidence of it, suddenly changing? That's a really big mystery. But the U.S. government is not the real government. The real government, which is a worldwide government, is the secret societies. That is the real government, because every government has to pledge allegiance to them. You can't be the head of a government without being a member of them. That's the world government. So what I suspect is happening is there is some conflict within the secret societies. They're not just a monolithic entity, the secret societies. I'll just call them Illuminati because there's so many compartmentalized, and Jesuits, Freemasons, and Rosicrucian. Just an Illuminati, an umbrella, but they're compartmentalized and they're not all on the same page. And there is rivalry between them, but there's a set of rules between the umbrella secret society. And I suspect what you're seeing here in the UFO thing is some rivalry at the absolute highest levels of the umbrella secret societies, where some powerful factions are saying this is going to be revealed, while other factions which have had more power throughout the years, who don't want it revealed, have no choice but to reveal it. I think this is evidence of a rivalry at the very highest levels of the real government in the world, which is the secret societies, who've orchestrated this Matrix Truman Show, which is what it is. And Sirius may have actual life. Maybe Syrians actually do exist. what people believe and don't believe is really radically changing in 2026. And Michael Jordan, you have to wonder why he's so important. It's because of when he was born. He was born at 1:40 p.m. in Brooklyn, New York on February 17th, 1963. And on the horizon, in astrology, this is very important, is what is happening on the horizon at the time you're born, because the horizon is rising. The stars are rising. Everything is coming up, and like your life, your new life is rising. So the ascendant. So in a chart, it's on the left side of a zodiacal chart. It's called the ascendant. That is the key to any zodiac sign, more important than your actual zodiac sign. Some astrologers don't even completely disregard your zodiac sign. In the tropical astrology, that's your sun sign, and say this is actually the most important part of a birth chart. But in order to get this, you have to know your time of birth. Some people don't know their time of birth. They can either ask their mother to estimate, or you just don't know it. You'll never really know because this changes. The stars are rotating. They're constantly coming up. When Michael Jordan was born, the star Sirius was on the eastern horizon. Sirius was rising when Michael Jordan was born. That's the main reason he's so important, is because he represents Sirius. Sirius was ascending. You can say ascending or rising when he was born. And this is very important to establish as to why Michael Jordan is so important. He's considered special for other reasons as well. He's an Aquarius. It's a symbol of the rise of the new age, as the new age of Aquarius. And this UFO thing is, I think this is the hardest hitting. Besides 9/11, this is the biggest part. So the age of Aquarius is said to be an age when what was previously hidden comes to light. And really nobody has the power to prevent that, but they will try to prevent that. And this extraterrestrial thing is a big part of the age of Aquarius. Information that was previously, for 80 years, they denied it, and now they're admitting it. That is very strange, but it's the age of Aquarius. And this is why Michael Jordan is so important. And Sirius Canis Major, Canine, Canis Major. And Sirius is a female dog. It's considered a female star and a female dog because the stars, they connect them to make it look like a dog. So Sirius is the instrumental song, which was the anthem of Chicago Bulls. So this is from YouTube. Their page on the song Sirius. Sirius is an instrumental by British rock band the Alan Parsons Project. I've talked about Parsons, is a big name. Recorded for their 6th studio album, Eye in the Sky. That's a big one too. Sirius, Eye in the Sky, 1982. 1982 is when E.T. came out. This is all tied in. I've talked about 82 before. Chariots of Fire equals 82. Who is releasing the UFO files? The United States Department of War, which is a new name. It's called the Department of Defense before. Department of War is 82. Just like Chariots of Fire, which describes extraterrestrial craft, or UFOs anyway, came out in 82. E.T. came out in 82. Eye in the Sky and the Alan Parsons Sirius came out in 82. It's a big year. This is also when Mork and Mindy, the last episode of Mork and Mindy, which is about UFOs, the Robin Williams. The last episode was in 82, shortly before E.T. came out. 82 is huge in this. Nearly 2 minutes long. It segues into Eye in the Sky on the album since 1984. It has been played at Chicago Bulls home games, as well as for the Nebraska Cornhuskers football home entrances, and subsequently became a staple at many other college and professional sports events throughout North America. And here's the kicker. Most notably, being played at the start of every single game of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Now, if this doesn't clinch the fact that this World Cup is based on Michael Jordan, the 23rd World Cup, this is the clincher because they use Michael Jordan's anthem for every single game. I thought they do it just for the opening. Now, I don't know. Do you think there's a copyright issue if I play the Bulls introduction and the World Cup introduction? Do you think that might be an issue?
I mean, yeah, it'll flag it. I mean,
okay, I won't play it. But I won't play it. Yeah, but to really get,
we've all heard it. We've all heard it.
Yeah. To get the impact, you have to hear the Chicago Bulls intro as they came on during the Jordan dynasty, and Jordan's introduced last.
Yeah.
And then see the teams entering, especially the first game, the U.S. entering for their opener at SoFi against Paraguay, as it starts playing as they're in the tunnel and they come out onto the field to hear that same song, that would really give you the impact. I'll do that for I'll do that I'll do a decode on it. But this, at least you have the explanation here.
Yep.
Sirius by the Alan Parsons Project. Eye in the Sky, Chicago Bulls home games since '84, every single game for the FIFA World Cup. Yes, this is about Michael Jordan. That's what.
Yeah, I mean,
if
that doesn't solidify everything right there.
Another thing too is Jordan is making soccer cleats, which is I didn't even know that soccer shoes, which before it was with PSG it was just uniforms, but they're actually making Jordan shoes as well, brand. So I need to look up. It's probably Vinicius. Which soccer players are actually wearing Jordan shoes? I need to, or somebody can look that up while I'm doing this. I'll just be curious to know who's actually wearing them, because this is a first for Air Jordan to actually make shoes. So this is I talked about this with Sirius, how Sirius disappears from Earth's view every year. This is when Sirius has its power, its most spiritual power throughout history, and today as well, because the same traditions from the beginning of civilization, from the ancient times, are still being practiced now, but more by the mystery schools, you could call them, secret societies. The reason Sirius disappears every year for 70 days is because this is the sun, and Sirius is a fixed star. Most of the time, you can see Sirius. It's from Earth's view. You can see Sirius. You can always see Sirius, except when Earth is behind the sun. So Sirius has a moniker, the sun behind the sun. This is a very powerful moniker. So what they say is spiritually, Earth depends on the sun. Without the sun, there is no life on Earth. The sun is the physical Earth's physical sun. No sun, no life. Earth needs this for life to exist. So that's the importance of the sun. So they say that when Earth, Sirius is behind the sun from Earth's perspective, they say that the spiritual power of Sirius is actually powering the sun. So Earth is actually getting Sirius's energy during this period, because of this alignment. It's Sirius, the sun, and then Earth. You need the sun for energy, but Sirius is behind it. And that's at the time that the World Cup is being played. It's a sacred time. It's when the Earth is getting Sirius's energy. But there's a time when Sirius, the sun, and Earth are in a perfect alignment. It's called a Sirius-Sun conjunction. That's when the alignment is perfect. And that's on the 4th of July. In 1776, that was on the 4th of July, which is why that is United States Independence Day. United States Independence Day has everything to do with the sacred star Sirius because of this alignment, because this is the perfect alignment on July 4th in 1776. Now, in 2026, this perfect alignment, I looked it up, they say it's July 5th or 6th, this is very important. I just looked up, the Sirius-Sun conjunction in 2026 occurs on July 6th. But on July 4th, in 1776, it was on July 4th. It's very important to know. That is why this was Independence Day. It is because of Sirius, and for no other reason. It's because of Sirius that July 4th was picked. So it's just like this Sirius is behind for 70 days, but the perfect alignment was on July 4th, 1776. Now it's July 6th, but also anywhere from July 4th, July 6th is the date of it's still considered a conjunction. Even if it's not perfect, it's still considered July 4th, 5th, and 6th are still considered a Sirius-Sun conjunction. So this is Alan Parsons Project, Eye in the Sky. So it's a prominent symbol at the World Cup. I put it sideways so you can see it as the teams come out for every game. This is the opening game between the United States and Paraguay. Is the I symbol. This is the I. It's all about Sirius, and they're walking out to Sirius. So I mean, there's no doubt that this is what the World Cup is about. Alan Part, and it came out in '82. ET came out in '82. This ties directly to ETs, and I think what this is symbolizing, whether it's true or not, whether there'll ever be any proof or not, the Sirius star system might actually harbor intelligent life, and it's considered super intelligent life. Maybe there is really such a thing as Sirians who are from the star system. Everything's changing in the age of Aquarius. That's what this is pointing to. This is all about Sirius. This is all about Sirius. This is an eye in the sky. They walk out to the eye to the song Sirius. And of course, United States independence, July 4th. 50 stars. Remember we talked about 50? Why Jameson wears 50? Because Sirius is a binary star, and Sirius B takes 50 years to rotate around Sirius A. That's why there are 50 stars. That's why it's the pentagram. That's why Brazil played against Morocco has the pentagram. The pentagram can be Sirius. This is all about Sirius. So that's the big story now, because Sirius is the dog star. It's Cabo Verde, Cape Verde, the World Cup underdogs. Cabo Verde highlight. Okay, this is like a crypto related. I didn't know it was crypto related. Crypto's blind spot in global football. Oh yeah, I need to look up this. This is a really interesting article. But I just posted this just to show a headline showing how this is the underdog. This is the story of the World Cup, is the underdog when it's all based on Sirius, which is the dog star. Now, the reason it's also called the underdog is because when this is July 4th, when Earth is actually furthest from Sirius, and you have that conjunction. But when Earth is closest to Sirius, that's on January 1st. That is why January 1st is the New Year. It's based on Sirius. Because the New Year used to be, it should make sense, when the sun is coming back in the spring. But they changed it to January 1st, which is the middle of winter, because that is when Earth is closest to Sirius. That's the beginning of the year. But the sun is in the underworld on January 1st. And that is related to Sirius. Again, which is the underdog. Sirius, the dog star. That's the underdog symbolism. When we have the other, this is actually called an opposition. When Earth is here, then you have Earth is in the middle. It's a Sirius Sun opposition. Here you have a Sirius Sun conjunction. But again, so that has to do with New Year when the sun is in the underworld. New Year, U.S. Independence Day, all has to do with Sirius. This World Cup is all about Sirius. And it's a sacred star, and this has to do with UFO revelation. Are there intelligent beings on Sirius? That seems to be what they're telling us. This is the year of the... they've admitted it. This is unprecedented. They admitted we have the bodies alive. The U.S. government says they have them alive. And there are multiple species of ETs. If they have anything alive, it's maybe one or two, or they say four, but they're a lot more than four. Some of them probably are Syrians. I don't know if they're going to say they have Syrians. I don't know if that's what they'll say. But it remains to be seen what happens with that. Another headline, Cabo Verde, Cape Verde, stuns Uruguay. They stunned a team with a U. 2-2 to continue their underdog World Cup run. They also held Spain, which is an even bigger superpower, one of the favorites to win it, to a 0-0 draw. But that actually showed they can score. They can't just defend 0-0. They can score as well, and they can attack as well. And Uruguay has won the World Cup 2 times in their history, and is a huge favorite, even though not as big a favorite as Spain, still a huge favorite over, again, its population is 500,000. It's an island nation on the west coast of Africa, off the west coast of Africa with 500,000 population. This is the story of the World Cup, which is all about Sirius, the underdog. Sirius is the dog star. That's why it's happening. Underdog, the superhero, and that was a great observation by you, AJ. Cape Verde. A cape is a reference to a superhero, like underdog has the U. Of course, they defeated the U. There's a real interesting picture I saw. I was looking at highlights from Jordan. You know, we know why Jordan is the World Cup because of the 23rd World Cup. They played Algeria yesterday. And look at the minute. It's the 37th minute when they scored.
Wow.
Jordan scored on the 37th minute to take the lead. Algeria ended up winning, but Jordan qualifying for their first World Cup, which is the 23rd World Cup. I saw how he's tied into the Jordanian national team. They played Algeria, and I'll tell you about Algeria's part of this riddle. Jordan took the lead, they ended up losing 2-1, but they took the lead. They scored the goal, so they're celebrating right at the clock hits 37, which technically when the clock hits 37, they're going to start the 38th minute. So they scored in the 37th minute, and they celebrated right on the nose.
In the year 26.
So this is the thing. This is the thing where you say you can't, there's no way you can choreograph that. That's on the nose, 37 minutes, when Jordan equals 37. When the Carolina Panthers, during the World Cup, from Jordan's hometown state, Carolina, won the NHL, and the MVP for the Stanley Cup playoffs was Jordan at age 37. They were the red and black, the Panthers. When Jordan equals 37, and then Jordan in the first ever World Cup, which is the 23rd World Cup, played yesterday against Algeria.
And Rambo, you remember I was talking about Like Mike? I think Myron had hopped off for a second, but Like Mike, starring Bow Wow, where he wants to be like Michael Jordan, the release date of that movie is July 3rd. Another 3/7.
Yeah, well, when you finish, I got something to add to that. I didn't want to cut Rambo off, but when you finish, I got something to add.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm almost done, but yeah, that Like Mike and Bow Wow, that's a great. But also think of the date. What was I just saying about that time of the year? That's July 3rd is the time of the Sirius Sun conjunction. So a conjunction. So technically in astrology, a conjunction is if you're within 4 degrees. So you don't have to be a perfect. So the perfect conjunction now in 2026 is July 6th. But anywhere from July 3rd, July 4th, July 5th, July 6th is considered a conjunction. But the perfect on the money conjunction is July 6th. But in 1776, the perfect on the money conjunction was July 4th. But July 3rd is still in that range of a conjunction. So you see how it all coordinates.
Yeah.
What I find really amazing is how do you make it the clock be this? This is exactly. So they score the goal. They ran over to the Jordanian fans in the stands, right on 37 on the nose. If it had been 37 minutes of the game and 1 second, that's the beginning of the 38th minute. If this had been a couple seconds, if the goal had been scored a couple seconds late, it would have been in the 38th minute. You can't coordinate this. You can't choreograph this. This is like Kobe Bryant. Remember when his very last game, he had this assist like right down the court, and they wanted to stop the game so he would get the ovation for his final game with the Lakers, and the clock was at 4.1 seconds and 41.
4.1, yeah.
It was all about 41 with him, not to get into that.
Yeah.
How do you coordinate to the 10th of a second?
Or what about when Devin Booker got his, nose smashed in during a playoff game, I think it was, when the owner's wife was sitting on the court side with the Steve Nash bloody shirt, and that was with 3:22 on the clock. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, we're talking milliseconds.
So there's something else going on here. This is the mystery of the Matrix. That's one of the biggest questions we'll have in this community. So how much of this is orchestrated by humans? Maybe they have supercomputers and AI, but and how much of this is some organic? And what is this mystery to the Matrix? That's why I call it my channel, The Truth Codes, because what happens in this world is done according to a code. And I just noticed this now. In the foreground, I only noticed this now, is Jordanian player number 23. I'd never noticed that.
There you go, on the bottom corner.
In the foreground. He's not celebrating with his team. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
He's Jordan player number 23. I have to find out who that is. How do you script all that? On the money, 37. Jordan 37. But there's another. So I just freeze framed this and took this screenshot. What actually initially made me take the screenshot is not. I didn't even notice the 37. It was this. For those who are familiar with my decodes, one of the Jordan fans has a green jersey with a yellow U on it.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
That's what got my attention. And so those who follow my decodes know that green and yellow is the underdog colors. That's how I had the Knicks over the Spurs when Wembanyama and the Spurs were the overwhelming favorites before the series. It was based on the green and yellow Men in Black alien-themed movie where the green and yellow exterminator van heads towards New York City. When I saw a green and yellow exterminator van and it's related to the aliens, I said they're signaling an upset, especially since New York City Mayor Mamdani is the underdog. I said, no, that is underdog coding 100%. That looks like a Knicks series win, but it's based on that green and yellow and the U. Also, it's also where Mayor Mamdani of New York City is from. He has dual citizenship. He was born in Uganda in East Africa, and he's also a citizen of the United States. He has dual citizenships from two countries that start with U, Uganda and the United States. And he's the underdog, yeah.
And really quick, Rambo, shout out to Fading the Public. And Cody, you'll get a kick out of this one. Fading the Public says number 23 on Jordan in the World Cup.
Oh, thanks.
Ishan Haddad is his name. He's born exactly 16 weeks after Michael Jordan, to go with all the 16 stuff that we've seen this World Cup. And I know Cody's done a lot of work on those 16s with what the first goal scored during the World Cup was was by like your own team, and it was number 16.
Yeah.
How about that?
If you think 23 is a big number, 16 is just as big this year. And it has to do with something with there's a lot of reasons why. I've covered it a lot. But another thing to mention, this goes with Sirius again. In one of the most important ciphers that most people never use, Chaldean, Sirius sums to 16. And this is why you're seeing the 16. And Chaldean is not a cipher to overlook. And I always have it in my thing when I'm looking at ciphers as I'm typing stuff in. But I think that's one of the reasons we're getting the 16, considering what Rambo's already showed with the Sirius stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, I'll do real quick. I'll wrap it up because I know Myron has something to add. So why did they pick Algeria for this ritual? This is seriously, I don't know how they do it on the money like this. I don't know, man. This world is weird. I don't know. I mean, people need to ask questions about this world. Nonetheless, why Algeria? What does Algeria have to do with this? It has to do with Algerian Independence Day. So you can kind of guess around the general time you think Algeria might have had their Independence Day. You think it might have been around this time? The conjunction, we talked about July 3rd, July 5th, July 6th. Yes, that is why they're there. It's because Algerian Independence Day is observed annually on July 5th. That's when you have the Sirius Sun conjunction. So those dates you'll see from July 3rd through to July 6th will manifest in Sirius decodes, because that's a Sirius Sun conjunction. When Sirius is the sun behind the sun, and what they say is that the sun, which Earth depends on for life, is receiving Sirius's spiritual energy during this period.
And Rambo, Cape Verde's Independence Day is that day too.
And KODI intercepted my play.
No.
It's not just you.
No, actually, I can't actually take credit for that. It was actually Bobby Simpson in the chat who I read that earlier, but I didn't think you knew that, so that's why.
No, it's here. The graphic is here. I was leading up to it, but okay. So AJ, you're off the hook now. I was leading up. This is my mic drop. Like,
yeah,
it's like you're a comedian doing a bit, and you're about to do this punchline that's going to bring down the house, and a member of the audience jumps in, or not a member of the audience, but maybe you're doing a panel with other comedians. Yeah. You're on the side. You're doing your bit. And you're just about to deliver your punchline to bring down the house. Another comedian with his mic blurts out your punchline, and
everyone's like, "Oh my God, that guy's so funny over there."
Yeah, he blurts out your punchline. So I wasn't able to do it, but it's great. Everybody's doing it. No, that's okay. Bobby Simpson. I'm not surprised it was Bobby Simpson.
It was actually Bobby's. It was his fault because
blame. Yeah.
He dropped it. He dropped it in the chat, and I saw it earlier, and I checked it, and I was going to add that in if you didn't share it, and I thought you were done, and then I don't know why I splurted it out. I guess I thought you were done with your presentation. I thought that was your punchline, but yeah. My bad.
There's more to it. Like, it's not just one country. Like, so yeah, Bobby simply is the scapegoat going along. Yeah, I'll blame you. Let's put it on Bobby, right? No, he's sharp. No, we're all tuned in. We're all people on top of it. Great. Also, who is it who brought up the number 3, Ishan Haddad?
That was Fading the Public.
Okay, shout out to Fading the Public as well for that. That's huge. 1974 is also big. That's something else. But there you go. The Sirius Sun conjunction. Algeria was part of this decode. And there's the underdog again. Algeria, the green and yellow U. I don't know if I can find out what team this is. This is a jersey of a team. It might be a team in the Jordanian league or something. I don't know if I'll find out what team this is. But yeah, that's why Algeria was there, because of the Sirius Sun conjunction. Yeah, player number 23 in the foreground. Again, minute 37. Jordan's 37. Incredible. And that's 3rd July when you have the conjunction. Yes, Algeria, July 5th. Is their Independence Day, which is the Independence Day of the underdog. Cabo Verde's Independence Day is celebrated on July 5th. And that all has to do with the Sirius Sun conjunction. And it's trying to be nitty gritty on the money when there's a perfect conjunction. It's July 6th in 2026. And let's look at Cabo Verde's coordinates.
Rambo, I got to say this. I mean, July 6th, this is so perfect with everything we were talking about earlier with 322. You know, shout out to you, Rambo. And Myron, just to fill you in, I think you hopped off for a second. CV, like Cape Verde. CV, the initials is 322, right? And we talked about how Who Let the Dogs Out came out, or the anniversary release date was 322 days before the killing of Jameson the dog, right? But then now for another 322 connection, Dogs Love Their Bones, right? Well, July 6th, that's the birthday of George Bush, Mr. Skull and Bones.
Oh, that's a good one. I completely overlooked that one. That's a great connection, because that connects to the Skull and Bones and the 322.
Yeah, and Jameson once
amazing.
again in Satanic equals 322.
You said what letters? VC, CV?
So C is the 3rd letter, V is the 22nd. That was something Rambo mentioned earlier. So CV is 322.
Oh, okay. I know.
In
the
Cape,
NBA
like
player,
the underdog wears the cape, you know.
Y'all know the NBA player Bones Highland. Bones Highland played at VCU.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
VCU,
he walks.
What's their
Virginia Commonwealth?
Yeah, but what's their mascot again?
I don't know. You said you saying the VC, that made me think of Bones, because I know he played at VCU and he walks around with like the big doggy bone chain. His name is Bones Highland, and I know even when he
went to the CB.
Yeah.
So it's Highland, like Highland.
HYLAND. Bones Highland.
Yeah. Well, Myron, weren't we talking about him last year?
Yeah.
Didn't he like score, like he landed on exactly 322 points for the season or something like that?
Yeah. And even when I know you brought up the 50, but when he played for LA, because he's been on a few teams, but when he played in Los Angeles, I know he wore the number 5 as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he has the Pope's birthday, September 14th. So
I'll
wrap it up real quick. I'll get everybody else can get. So the Cape again. That's a great connection. The Cape Verde underdog, the U, and then this U shows up. This still is. I'm just seeing stuff here I didn't even see when I made the still. I only made this still when I saw this. Then all this stuff, 37. I mean, okay, I saw the Algeria thing. All this other stuff is. I don't know. This is a mysterious place. So Cabo Verde, its coordinates, its location off the coast of West Africa it's on the 23rd. So it's an archipelago. So it's on the 23rd.7 meridian west. So part of the island is also on the 24th, but the Wikipedia and part of it is on the 23rd, but it's on the 23rd.7 degrees longitude. So 23 is part of its location.
Well, but the 23/7 matters too, because that's the date of Jordan's father's death.
All right, I didn't even notice that. There you go. That's it's unbelievable how much comes out. Yeah, that's another one, which is the Heliacal Rising of Sirius, ceremonially observed by Freemasons on 23rd July. The reason they hold it on 23rd July is because what did I say was the central symbol? A cycle is a central symbol, which is the circle. You measure the circle with pi, which is 22 divided by 7. In ancient Egypt, when you had the heliacal rising of Sirius, their new year started. So when Sirius reappeared, so heliacal rising of Sirius, what that means, that's when Sirius first becomes visible. That's at this point. So Sirius is invisible behind the sun. The moment Earth kind of peaks up above the sun and you see Sirius again for the first time, Sirius rises on the eastern horizon, and that's called the heliacal rising. The opposite is the heliacal setting, when Sirius disappears and it goes down on the horizon, on the western horizon. On the eastern horizon, this is the heliacal, when Sirius reappears again. That's also a very important. So that actually happens in the beginning of August now. There was a time when it was the 23rd of August in ancient Egypt, but for ceremonial purposes, Freemasonry observes the heliacal rising of Sirius on the 23rd of July. That is because the new year started in ancient Egypt at the heliacal rising of Sirius. So their new year, it changed throughout time. Whenever Sirius rose again, that would start the new year, so that's the beginning of the yearly cycle. A cycle is a circle measured by 22 divided by 7, which is pi. So 227, which is 22nd July, became symbolic of the completion of the circle, the yearly cycle. That's why 227 means the end of the year, the end of the cycle, the pi number. 237 then became symbolic of the beginning of the new cycle. That is why Freemasonry chooses this date for ceremonial heliacal rising of Sirius, 23rd July. And Michael Jordan's father is reported to have died at the date of the heliacal rising of Sirius, when Michael Jordan is quoted with Sirius. I can't say enough how significant Michael Jordan is. I mean, I know there's the Kobe strong. I mean,
it's funny we're talking about this right now as it's 2 hours 26 minutes, like 2026, and it's the 23rd day of the month.
Yeah, 23rd. Yeah. So The Last Dance is a 2020 American sports television documentary miniseries co-produced by ESPN Films and Netflix, directed by Jason Heyer. The series revolves, an interesting term, right? Series, what it revolves, that's a central symbol. Sirius B revolves around Sirius A, heliacal rising of Sirius, the yearly cycle. It's all about the cycle around Michael Jordan's career, with a particular focus on the 1997-98 season, The Last Dance. So you're having The Last Dance now in the World Cup, which is based entirely on Michael Jordan, and not entirely. There are other factors too. Primarily, I'll say, on the Star Series. So the release dates are significant here. April 19th. It was April 19th through May 17th, 2020. So the release date in 2020 through to so this is the date of the Cape Verde's most recent game. That's when they really solidified themselves. You can have one upset, but nobody expected them to just keep having upsets. And of course, they upset Uruguay, the team with the U. It's 2 in a row. So they really established themselves. This is like the biggest underdog story in World Cup history. There have been big underdog upsets, but in the past, in the World Cup, that's just one game. This is now they followed it up with a second game. And there's a good chance they'll actually go to the second round. So it is the biggest underdog story in the history of the World Cup. But it's an important number here because from the release date of The Last Dance, and this is the last dance for the two soccer goats at this World Cup, to the day of the game between Uruguay and Cape Verde, which was June 21st, is 6 years, 2 months, 2 days. That's 622. And I've talked about this a lot. Matthew 6:22. I talk a lot about this. People talk about the single eye. It has many meanings. The single eye has very many different meanings. It's talked about in the Bible, and it's a quote from Jesus Christ himself. So this is in Christianity from a quote from Jesus Christ. Matthew 6:22. That's 622. The light of the body is the eye. If therefore This is the King James Version. Thine eye be single. This is Christianity. This is not New Age. This is not mystery traditions. This is the Bible. Quoting Jesus. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. Obviously, he's not talking about physical eyes, because obviously you see more with two eyes, physical eyes, than you do with one eye. You're more filled with light, visual, light, with two eyes open, obviously. It doesn't make sense that if you only look out of one eye, or you'll see better. So let's all close one eye so we can see. Obviously, that's not what he's referring to. But what he's referring to here is not a physical eye. If therefore thine eye be single, then your body will be full of light. So what he's talking about here is seeing past this matrix, this world of illusion. That's actually what this is. Hard to believe that it is. In theory, it is. It doesn't feel like it is. Feels very real, like The Matrix. The Matrix is a documentary. And Cypher in The Matrix, he's the one who said, no, this feels real. But he chose to stay in the Matrix and have a pleasant illusion, knowing that it's an illusion. Where his famous line was, ignorance is bliss. But he actually was not ignorant, because he knew it was a Matrix. He knew it was all fake. Taste buds and the five senses, which feels really real, is actually not real. And he knew that. Cypher knew that. Interesting, his name is Cypher, isn't it? He knew that, but he said, no, I choose to stay in the Matrix. He made a deal with the architect that if you could just give me a pleasant illusion. So he was in a fancy 5-star restaurant with exotic, expensive clothes. And he was pointing it out. Look at these beautiful, attractive people. This meal, he's eating medium rare steak or something. And he was saying, I know that all of this is fake. He's saying it. I know it is. But I'm going to stay here and enjoy this because it feels real, even though I know it's fake. I don't want to know the truth. He said, ignorance is bliss. That's one of the key moments and the key lines of that whole Matrix trilogy. The Matrix is a documentary. It just is. Not 100%. There's some stuff that, but it is. There's multiple truth in that. What is the single eye? The single eye is an eye other than the two physical eyes. The two physical eyes show you the illusion, which is very convincing. It's the single eye, the third eye that Jesus was talking about in Matthew 6:22. And okay, so the eye has many meanings. And the follow-up song to Sirius is Eye in the Sky. And they walk into the World Cup teams, walk on to Sirius, which is, they don't play Eye in the Sky. They just play the Sirius part, to the eye symbol. And this is a reference to Sirius. This is the World Cup. This is what the World Cup revolves around. And it just so happens that there's a reference to that single eye in the Bible, and it's Matthew 6:22. And The Last Dance, that's what this is for Messi and Ronaldo. It first aired, was released 6/22. 6 years, 2 months, 2 days before the date of Cape Verde's upset. It was a 2-2 tie with Uruguay. This is my last graphic, just to give you an idea. Messi versus Ronaldo. These are the two GOATs of soccer. The GOAT debate that will never end. And so far, Messi has stolen the show. Argentina has played 2 games. They've scored 6 goals. Messi has scored 5 of their goals. I think they scored 6 goals, 5 or 6 goals. Messi has scored at age 39. He turns 39 today. He scored almost all their goals. He scored 5 goals so far in this World Cup in just 2 games. So many people are saying this ends the debate. Another underdog is Congo, which is another underdog story for another decode. Congo of Africa is another underdog story. They played Portugal, one of the World Cup favorites, and they held Portugal to a 1-1 tie. Congo is another underdog. And after that game 1-1, it was not Ronaldo who scored. Ronaldo really, across the world, has been getting slated and written off. Well, he played today, and Ronaldo responded. They played Uzbekistan, a team with a U, and Ronaldo scored 2 goals. And you should see his celebrations. Like, his celebrations were telling people that this GOAT debate is not over. No, he was just buried in criticism after Portugal were held by Congo, the other underdog. And many people are blaming Ronaldo for the fact that Portugal are not living up to their expectations, saying that he's 41. So it's the last dance for both. He's 39, he's 41. This is their last dance. And many people were blaming him. They're saying he's actually bringing the team down. He can still play 90 minutes at 41, but he responded today with 2 goals. So he made a statement. So he's back. He's back in the picture. So just real quick, just to show that it's Messi versus Ronaldo, which this is all about the last dance. If you could see the bracket for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, just to show the bracket, to show they will meet. I'll be shocked. Let me put it that way. If FIFA doesn't let this happen, they have to meet. Let's see. So, Congo. No, it's Curacao. Sorry. I'm just showing how the brackets pan out, if I can find it. Cape Verde, Spain, Uruguay. If I can't find it,
essentially
yeah.
So Group A, Portugal, right? Like if Portugal wins their group and Argentina wins their group, then they're going to face each other.
Yeah. So Portugal is in Group K. Argentina is in Group J, and they're leading. I mean, they're going to win the group. Group J, Argentina, they'll probably finish first. Portugal, Group K. They might finish second. It depends if they play Colombia. So Portugal is in Group K. And the way the bracket has it is that winner of Group K so this is the winner of Group K will make it this way. You can see that Group K. They'll win the next round and they'll end up on July 11th here. And Argentina's Group J. You see they've already won their group. It'll be game. This is where they'll meet in Kansas City on July 11th. This will be the last dance for the GOATs. So put that on your calendar. Yeah, July 11th, Kansas City. You could get Portugal versus
Argentina.
You could, yeah. That's if Portugal beats Colombia in the next game. These are the 2 GOATs for the last dance right here in Kansas City. Yeah, I'll stop there.
No, that was fantastic stuff, Rambo. And Myron, one thing I just wanted to throw in here, just a kind of a cherry on top with what Rambo was just talking about with Matthew 6:22. Let's not forget about Genesis 3:22. We've talked a lot about, Skull and Bones 3:22 today. Jameson equals 3:22. Well, Genesis 3:22, right? It's the verse about the knowledge of good and evil.
Yeah.
Thine eye be single. I just wanted to throw in this one slide I shared with you guys offline, with the parade that happened in New York after the Knicks, the underdog, defeated the Spurs. Well, there was a lot of footage of a lot of things that went down during this parade, but one of them, you just found this woman on TMZ as early as today, who's speaking up about an incident. Long story short, she throws this woman off of a light post, and the woman retaliates by pulling down her shorts, and she starts twerking, and everything goes viral. Well, sure enough, as soon as this visual goes down, you can see she has the all-seeing eye, the Illuminati, symbolism tattooed right on her chest. And we know that thine eye be single is all about being illuminated and in the light. And of course, she's saying, you can tear down my pants, but not my spirit. And of course, this takes place on the corner of Trinity Place. So I just feel like there's a lot of symbolism there. And speaking of the Trinity, Rambo's talked a lot about how Skull and Bones represents 2/3 of the Trinity.
Yeah.
Another 23 connections. So yeah, Myron, please. What you
Yeah.
got for us?
Rambo, amazing stuff as always.
Thank
Can't say enough. Like constantly, always learning from you, always taking notes. I have some find that pretty much ties everything that you connected and touched on, and also AJ with the New York Knicks, the dog shooting. It connects to Charles Dickens. So the novel Charles Dickens. So he started. You guys have covered Like Mike. So Like Mike is the movie that came out. He gets powers. It's homage to Michael Jordan. He gets shoes, but even you talking about the blazing star, those shoes are blazers titled MJ. Like the shoes that he puts on are a pair of blazers, and the character that plays him is Lil Bow Wow. Lil Bow Wow, that's a dog, of course. But I'm thinking Charles Dickens because in the movie Like Mike, Little Bow Wow is an orphan, and the novel Oliver Twist, he's an orphan. So Charles Dickens created the novel Oliver Twist, and you guys touched on like Oliver Tree. So Oliver Twist, he's an orphan in the movie, and the villain, his dog's name is Bullseye. So the dog's name is Bullseye. You connect on Jordan, the Chicago Bulls, Sirius, all the dog connections, even the dog for the New York Knicks. So his name is Bullseye. He's the dog of the villain. The villain's name is Bill Sykes, and Sykes is an anagram for skies in the Chicago Sky. So you have Bullseye for the Chicago Bulls, and you have Sykes. The Chicago Sky is the WNBA team out there. And then if you take it a step further, the Disney movie that came out in homage of Oliver Twist is Oliver and Company. And Oliver and Company is about a cat and a dog. And you just had Carl Anthony Towns for the Knicks win. And then you had the dog shooting. And Oliver and Company takes place in New York City. Not only is New York City the home of the New York Knicks championship team, but New York, New Jersey is the home. That's where the championship of the World Cup is going to be played, out in New York. And then you have, going back to Charles Dickens and the alien connections, Charles Dickens, his first love, her name was Maria. Maria, her last name is Beadnell. So Charles Dickens' first love, her name is Maria. So Charles Dickens, while he was a novelist, he was a novel in the era called the Victorian era. And of course, you have Victor Wembanyama from Paris, France, and then the Jordan sponsored team from France as well. So he was in the Victorian era, and the love of his life, his parents didn't approve of him seeing Maria. So she was shipped off to Paris, France, to go to school in Paris, France, after her relationship with Charles Dickens. So she had to attend school out in Paris, France, after seeing him. But just the constant, like the touching on the dogs, like I said, Little Bow Wow is the dog. Sirius, even the singer, he's a pop singer named Oliver. In 1969, his most popular song was Good Morning Starshine. So there's a pop singer named Oliver, and his song is called Good Morning Starshine. And again, just literally everything you were touching on just tied back to this Charles Dickens, Oliver and Company. And then even thinking of the Jordan connections with his controversy with the children, because in Like Mike, they're orphans, they're children. The story about Oliver Twist, he's a child. Like these children are waiting to be adopted, and now they have the scandal this year of Michael Jordan pretty much like touching a little child. And even the connection to the Delta and Karl Malone, him being the mailman, his biggest story or blemish on his NBA career is him having a relationship with a minor, like a child as well. I think I want to say I found more. These are the main touch points. I just wanted to make sure I was connecting the dots. But yeah, everything you were covering and touching on stemmed all it just connected to this whole like Michael Jordan, the orphanage and Charles Dickens, and even there's a show called Doctor Who. And in the first season of Doctor Who, season 1, episode 3, they go back in time to meet Charles Dickens to fight aliens. And so I know you touched on the aliens. So in episode 1, it's called The Unquiet Dead. But they go back and they team up with Charles Dickens, and they pretty much at war are fighting against aliens or like an extraterrestrial life. Give me a little bit of time. Maybe if I'm on next week, I'll try to have everything. But I just wanted to cover, because you and AJ were on the nose about all the connections. And as I was taking notes, I just started putting together these Michael Jordan comparisons and the dogs and Sirius and everything that you touched on. So again, like always learning, great stuff as all. So I just wanted to throw my little 2 cents in.
No, I appreciate it. And thanks. Great additions. And yeah, thanks. Absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, the web is astonishing.
Yeah.
So much stuff AJ's brought up, and even just from that one picture, the cape, all that stuff. Tied in. But yeah, even this what you brought up here. Also, there's the image there of right there. You see that that van there? I think that's a Volkswagen actually. So the VW. I was talking about the chariot and the VW.
Yeah.
Victor Wembanyama's initiative.
Yeah.
Again, that's the chariot symbol and the wheel. That's one of the reasons Victor Wembanyama is so important. It's because of that chariot symbol, and also the alien chariots of fire. Chariots of fire describes aliens. I talked about the book of the book of Second Kings. Chapter 2, verse 11, where Elijah goes up to a chariot of fire. There appeared a chariot of fire in the sky, and Elijah went up in a whirlwind. Like until modern times, what are you describing? Angels, a chariot house. In modern times, you look back and say, "Wait, that looks like they're describing what we see in Star Trek." And this writing from a long time ago. These writings, I mean, they're translated and stuff. I haven't looked at the translations, but pretty much I haven't heard of that being a disputed translation. They're describing an aerial craft doing teleportation of Elijah. And where was Elijah when he was teleported to a chariot of fire? On the banks of the River Jordan. That's where he was.
And you said Jordan saw the series. They're from Britain.
Who's that?
The group series. They're from Britain.
Oh no, the Alan Parsons Project.
Oh, okay. They're from Britain.
They're from England. Yeah.
Oh, okay, they're from England. I know that. So Charles Dickens, he's from England as well. So that's what got me like diving into like England. But yeah, I know Charles Dickens is from England as well.
So the royal family of Britain, they venerate Sirius to a great degree. But again, they also answer to a higher power. They're not top dog.
Right.
They answer to a higher power. They're part of the secret society. This matrix. This is what this world is. It's a matrix of some sort.
Yeah.
Truman Show matrix. That is Truman Show and the Matrix describe how this world really is. And if you want to find out for yourself, put the energy out, you will be astonished. But they answer to that higher power, and that higher power venerates Sirius. The royal family of England very highly venerates the star Sirius. In fact, Queen Elizabeth, I talk about the number 70. Sirius is invisible for 70 days. It's the sun behind the sun for 70 days. So on her 70th jubilee of her reign, they lit up the Buckingham Palace with the number 70. This is shortly before she died. Big neon sign, the number 70. When I see 70, that's the first thing I think of, especially in regards to the royal family. And they had a corgi dog in the sky, lit up the sky with drones. Let me find this image. Queen Elizabeth. Yeah, it is a corgi in the sky. When you see a dog in the sky, that wasn't very subtle. Elizabeth. Okay. If you see that picture,
Yep. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
yeah, this is above Buckingham Palace. You can see this is, I think, Victoria is the statue outside Buckingham Palace. This is what the sky looked like. You see the bone there we're talking about?
Yeah.
That was above Buckingham Palace. It says a drone show above Buckingham Palace during BBC's Platinum Party at the Palace, staged in front of Buckingham Palace, London, on day 3 of the Platinum Jubilee celebrations of Queen Elizabeth II. This is on June 4th, 2022. So the sky was lit up with a dog in the sky with a bone. And what do you think that refers to? That's we know. They also lit up Buckingham Palace with a number 70 as well. But yeah, they it's all about Sirius, and that's another study as to what do they say about Sirius? Why is it venerated? And the symbols. That's a whole other study. And I'll shout out one of my patrons, Paulo Braga. He's from Brazil. He sent me some videos explaining Sirius. I'll do a decode. I'll give a link to those. But shout out to Paulo Braga, one of my patrons, for giving me links to videos that explain the esoteric significance of the star Sirius, why it's so venerated, and what it means.
Yeah, no, all good things. And I'm trying to be mindful of time. You know, we're about 10 minutes out from the 3-hour mark. I know it's getting super late or super early for KODI, but I'm excited to see what KODI has with regards to.
Yeah, I have some stuff I've been wanting to share, and I've only got a few minutes because it's already getting late. I've almost fallen asleep, unfortunately. It's hard for me to, even though I'm listening, it's hard for me to. But I definitely wanted to get a few things in here.
Absolutely.
Before we hang it up. But if someone else has
something, I appreciate you. I appreciate you hanging around, man. I just gave you the stage.
My screen is up?
Yep.
Okay. I'll just make it real quick because, like I said, it's already almost 6:30 here. But so just to play off of a few things, I have a whole Knights Templar decode that I wanted to show Rambo, but I'll probably just save. But yeah, it connects to Ronaldo, so I'll save that for another time. But there is something crazy I found with Ronaldo and the key that he received at the White House, and it connects to the Knights Templar. Actually, in fact, the whole World Cup final is seemingly on the perfect day for the Knights Templar. But besides that, I just want to quickly hit the Netherlands stuff. You guys have already watched or seen most of my stuff. I've connected every event this year to the Netherlands with the ship, the Hondius, the James Van Der Beek's death, the connection with the Dutch shooter at the Super Bowl, the Dutch figure skater. I connected almost every event this year to the Netherlands, except for, and I also touched on this, but I kind of got confirmation from it because at the World Cup game 2 for the Netherlands, there was, I already mentioned how I thought that the orange spacesuit was connected with this early this year because the Hondius thing was going on at the same time as this. So clearly the Dutch were connected with that. So yeah, Victor Glover and Reed Wiseman, they showed up at the Houston, and this, as far as I know, this is the only game they're coming to in the whole tournament. If you read the NASA article on this, the only game it mentions them going to is Netherlands versus Sweden. They showed up there 51 days. So why was the score 5-1? I mean, I could have if you really, and I've had these dates in my calculator, so I knew how important this date was. But April 30th is no more important day. Well, of course, we know it's the Church of Satan's birthday. We know how important a day is to the Mr. Mustache Man. But there's no more important day, in my opinion, to the Netherlands, because the Netherlands' first game was on that day, April 30th. First ever game international, and their king became king on that day. And the birthday of the astronaut who just happened to show up the same day as the king is also that day, Victor Wiseman. This is the V stuff I started off talking about at the beginning of this New York and stuff. So look at this, 51 days. after this date, this first game of Netherlands, the King's Ascension Day, they score 5-1 with both people in attendance, both Victor and the King. So I mean, and Moon equals 51. They went on a supposed moon mission. So, in fact, I kind of expected this. I would give a shout out to the person that was with me who predicted this score. Actually, I didn't even predict it, but the person I was with actually said this is what the score was going to be, and they got it exactly right. So shout out to them. But yeah, that I just want to share that because I've already talked about how it's connected to the moon. But then I want to just cut quickly on this. So we have the German economist who I've already talked about his prediction, and this is the only reason that I'm skeptical now of the Netherlands, because this is if this didn't exist, I would not have any doubts. But this exists, so I'm a bit skeptical. But he has Portugal versus Netherlands. But let me just show you why this. If this isn't the game that they have in the final, the reason that this game, what I'm about ready to show you, the reason that these two teams are coded is probably just for this ritual, just for this guy coming out and saying it's going to be these two teams. Because that's the only thing what I'm about ready to show you is so perfect that I don't see how that maybe they're just going to throw a curveball and that they're just going to, this was the ritual to have some guy come out and predict this. And remember, he's predicted the last 3 World Cups correctly already. The winner, at least. I don't know if he's predicted the exact 2 teams that are in the final correctly. I'm not sure about that, but I know he's predicted the last 3 winners correctly. But yeah, let me just, what I'm about ready to show you though, it's just wild and undeniable numerically. First of all, they did a moon mission video, the Netherlands. Okay, that was their hype video, and not every team even made a video, and not every team even close to made such a high quality video. This is like a movie. And supposedly all the players were actually part of the creation of it. the directing and the music and but look at this. In 1572, on July 19th, the day of the final, in 1572, they kind of consider this day the beginning of the Dutch Republic in a way, because this is the day they selected William of Orange as their leader to go against Spain. Well, 1572 on July 19th, right? So we got the 1572, we got the July 19th. Well, July 19th equals 1572, okay? That's crazy in itself. But look at this. The video they released just happens to equal 1572. They just released this.
Wow.
This was the clue. Now look at this. The king, the current William of Orange, his name is William, and he's the House of Orange. From the day he became king on April 30th, which I just told you guys about with this thing, to the World Cup final on July 19th is 13 years, 2 months, 19 days. That's the 1572 prime, guys. On top of that, this is on the date of the anniversary of the year 1572, guys. It equals July 19th equals 1572. And the same, I'm not using any different ciphers. I'm using arguably the best cipher to use, according to Derek. And I agree with Derek. This is the most, because you're not just getting, you're not going to get very easily matches. And look at the county this is happening in. Bergen County, New Jersey, 1572. And let's not forget, this county was named after the Dutch. Okay, so you got so much here that it's just, how can you, I put this in the chat. I was like, what am I supposed to think if I see something like this? You got the year coded in there. The date's perfect. Not to mention, this is Trump's 80th birthday just coming. This Dutch Republic thing was the start of the 80-year war. Trump just turned 80. The Netherlands' first game was on his 80th birthday. The coach of the Netherlands was born the 80th day of the year. And from the World Cup or from the King's Ascension Day, April 30th, to the World Cup final is 80 days. And of course, Satan equals 80. That's the Church of Satan's birthday as well. So the 80 is super important here. But yeah, if you go from his Ascension Day to that day, it's 80 days. Okay. And so Satan, also I think Dutch independence sums to 80 in Gematria. So that's the day of Dutch independence, kind of. And so on top of that, Again, also the Knicks just won the Super Bowl. Their flag, the New York flag, literally gets the colors from the Dutch. I mean, what else you want me to like? I don't know what else to say. But check. Okay, this is the Cristiano. I'll mention this real fast. Cristiano Ronaldo. He's the other guy, the other team that this guy is predicting. It'll be Netherlands and Portugal. So Ronaldo received a key from Orange Man Trump, and that was 242 days before the final. Look what key to the White House equals 242. Now on top of that, this day is on the finals on 7/19. It's 719 days after the anniversary of the first World Cup final. So the 94th anniversary, if you go 719 days after that anniversary, it's the World Cup final on 7/19. Well, look at what the full name of the Knights Templar equals. 719 and 242. But if you just take out poor fellow soldiers of Christ and you just put the Temple of Solomon, it also equals 719. So this number, this is all about the Knights Templar. 719, their full name equals 719. The Temple of Solomon equals 719. And what's the odds that this guy, Cristiano Ronaldo, gets a key 242 days before when their name equals 242 and key to the White House equals 242? That's what goes back into what I was going to talk more about with this. But I won't go deep into that. But I will say that when the Templars got away from France, when they were persecuted, where did they go? Portugal. King Dennis took them in and changed their name to the Order of Christ. Think about it. Cristiano Ronaldo, he's the Christ. They're the follow. So when they left, when the Templars left their persecution, King Dennis of Portugal took them in, renamed them the Order of Christ. So that's why you have Cristiano Ronaldo. And they have what's called the Lesser Key of Solomon, which is a book about magic, but there's your key symbolism. There's more, and there's actually, I got to do way more research on this, but that's kind of a quick overview on that.
Well, and Cody, really quick, I'll just say we were talking about Like Mike quite a bit. I don't know if you remember the movie or if you saw it, but the main team that Calvin Cambridge, aka Lil Bow Wow, plays for is the Knights.
Oh, really?
And don't forget, you just had the Golden Knights, right? Who just lost in the Stanley Cup that Rambo touched on with Carolina. But yeah, I just want to throw the Knights connection in there with what we've already talked about already.
Yeah, it is interesting that the Knights just lost also. And in the WWE, you got a wrestler right now, LA Knight, who's kind of at the central theme of the story.
And that's the team in Like Mike. They're the Los Angeles Knights. They're the LA.
Yeah, that's what so yeah, LA Knight, the wrestler, he's super coded. I need to dig more into him at some point. And he's all synced up with the Knights Templar, I know. But yeah, so just a perfect alignment. I mean, just key to the White House equaling 242, exactly 242 days. I just can't see how that'd be a coincidence. But now this is what I really just blew my mind in general. The Oz Perlman thing, I've been kind of pondering it for a while because Oz Perlman's birthday is the World Cup final. There's no doubt that this was a clue for the whole shooting was a World Cup final thing again. Now, remember, it will be his 44th birthday. Shooting equals 44. And remember, that took place at the exact same location as Ronald Reagan's. So that's the key, is the Ronald theme. Because we got Ronaldo. Did you guys know? I mean, Rambo, I'm sure Rambo knew it, but I didn't know this until recently. Ronaldo's named after Ronald Reagan, like literally.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
If you just look it up, wow. Ronaldo named after. Okay, so if you don't think he's going to the finals, I mean, what was the biggest event of the year kind of so far was that shooting? I think he's going. I think it's because of this Ronald thing. If I'm wrong, guys, I'm just going to probably stop doing numeric decodes. I'll just do symbolism because the numbers, the symbolism all points to Ronaldo and Netherlands, honestly. Because I'm going to show you how the Netherlands...
It makes me think of McDonald's again, though, too, because Oz Perlman, right, like standing next to Ronald and Donald, you know?
That's what it's all about. It's all about the Ronald-Donald thing. Because remember, and the reason they named him Ronaldo is because he was born in 85. That was the year that Ronald Reagan was president. That's the reasoning they give for his name. Now, on top of that, like you said, Ronald McDonald, right? There's definitely a McDonald's riddle to this for sure, I would say. But But it gets more mind-blowing because now, remember, again, I wasn't even looking for the Netherlands in this, but then I remembered, oh, who's the coach of the Netherlands? Ronald. Now, I've been doing all the Netherlands stuff. I've connected it to all the other events this year, and now I get to connect it to the shooting. And it connects so perfectly and numerically that it's blowing my. I just found this right before the stream, essentially, or earlier tonight. So yeah, 44th birthday of Oz Perlman. And then look at this. It just so happens that Ronald Koeman or Koeman, I think is how you say it, of the Netherlands, he actually became coach of Netherlands twice, but the first time he ever became coach was on 2/6/2018 of the Netherlands. Guess whose birthday that was? Ronald Reagan. It was his 107th birthday, which is shooting, right? But not only that, it was 1284 months, which is the gematria of Ronald Reagan. So that's the first thing. That's the clear connection, right? We already know Ronaldo's clearly connected. Now we know that this guy's clearly connected. So now we have a clear connection. Now look at the date durations between these people. Like, these people are chess pieces on a perfect chessboard. Look. Ronaldo was born one day. Okay, so let me start with the birth of to the Ronaldo to Ronald. Basically, Ronaldo is born on the 74th birthday, if you do the span of days, after Ronald Reagan. So he's born one day after. Or if he was born one day later, he would be born on Reagan's birthday. 74th, like Jesus, Messiah, right? But look at this. If you don't do this date span, he's born 73 years, 350 or 364 days, but that's also 2728 days, which is the 232 triangular number. Well, that number is something he also shares with Reagan to his death. Look how old Ronaldo was when Reagan died, 232 months. So between Reagan's birth and Ronaldo is a 232, and between Ronaldo's birth and Reagan's death is also a 232. I mean, that's perfect. Not to mention he's named after the guy. Now look at this. What are the absolute undeniable odds that Ronaldo would be born exactly 760 days before Reagan died, and Ronald Koeman would be born 760 days before Oz Perlman? It's the same dates, guys. It's how is that even possible? But that's not even it. So it's even kind of a bit hard to wrap your head around, because what I'm going to show you next, there's another date duration. So I'm trying to even wrap my head around this myself. So Ronaldo to Reagan's death, 7 is the same duration as Koeman to Perlman, right? Now look at this. From Koeman to Ronaldo is 7992 days. From Perlman to Reynolds' death, 7992 days.
Jeez.
What? Guys, think about this on a deeper level. What are the odds that these four characters that I already connected without numbers, without date durations, when we know Ronaldo's named after Ronald Reagan? And so I'm still trying to wrap my head around this, because and actually lay it out in a slide that makes sense, because 760 from the birth to the death, and then from the birth to the birth of these two is the same. And then that's just the same between these guys. The odds of that are 0.00000. So you got the two. Again, I don't know. This German guy, maybe he put this prediction out here because the whole thing has changed now, because I've exposed all this. Maybe the only thing that's going to come from this is this prediction from this German guy that these two teams are going to meet in the final. But
I'll say this too, Cody, really quick. I mean, just with everything we've talked about with Michael Jordan, don't forget that Trump has always claimed to be like Jordan's biggest fan, or, it's his favorite player. But beyond that, Washington, their basketball team is the Wizards, right? So it makes me think of the Wizard of Oz, right? And the Wizards did just have the #1 overall pick tonight in the NBA draft. So, there's that kind of Wizard of Oz theme on top of all of this as well.
Wait, so I think Koeman played for the Washington, hold on.
He played for Barcelona. He played for PSG. PSV Eindhoven in Barcelona.
Yeah, somebody I know, somebody of all these Dutch players or somebody that's in these decodes is actually played for the Washington. Oh, it's Cruyff. Oh, this is another connect. I got to talk about this. The most famous player for the Dutch ever is Cruyff, Johan Cruyff. Guess when his birthday is, guys? The day of the White House shooting. Or the White House, of course. So that even connects perfectly. The most famous player in Dutch history, his birthday is literally the day of the Oz Perlman and Trump stuff. March or April 25th. And 47. Right? So Trump the 47 was shot at on his birthday. And what birthday was that of him? Hold on a second. Cruyff.
Is Jordy a relative of his?
His 79th birthday. So yeah. So Trump was 79 too at this time. So on Cruyff's 79th birthday, the Trump who was 79 was shot at on his birthday. So and what else? But what was I going to say about Cruyff? Something else about. I think Cruyff played for the Washington.
Oh, probably in the what is it called? That NASL.
He played for the Washington Diplomats.
The NASL.
Cody, can you go back one really quick? Because at the top of the Cruyff page, the very top, what does it say there? It says for his son is Jordy.
Where? Where's it say? Oh, Jordy.
That his son?
I guess.
Johan Jordy Cruyff?
Or is that maybe it's his brother? Hold on, where does it say? It got to say it somewhere. He's the son. No, he's the son of Johan Cruyff.
We can't get away from this Jordan stuff, man.
Yeah, so Johan Jordy Cruyff. And remember, in the Dutch hype video, they put Jordan's jersey in there. So
there you go.
The other jersey that's in there is Cruyff's. Cruyff's jersey's in there, number 14. Later on, and then Michael Jordan's jersey's in there. So I mean, like I said, when I see this stuff, I mean, what else am I supposed to think about the Netherlands? I mean, considering the ship this year, everything I've shown, in this 1572 thing is just, I mean, I don't know what to say about that, really. It just the fact that all this lines up so perfectly. I bet you there's more. I bet you there's things I haven't found with these characters because I just started looking into them. The Ronald Reagan thing didn't hit me until just today. So I'm guarantee you I'm going to be doing my own video on my channel, but I have to like this. And there was something else I wanted to say, but I think I'll just let it there for now since we're already 3 hours and I'm going to start ready to probably jump out here in a minute. But yeah, and also I wanted to mention one real quickly about Messi. Yesterday, yeah, let me just show you the 16s real fast. Sorry, guys.
Oh, you're good.
16s. Find my slide. Because the whole 16 thing is about the Netherlands too. For some reason, they have a bunch of 16s in their history. If I can just find it. Here it is. So remember, the first guy to score a goal in the final was number 16 on Mexico. His name equaled the tower. The first own goal was number 16 for Paraguay against the United States. Freeman on the United States scored the other day, number 16, and that was right after the Australian guy scored an own goal, and he was exactly 1,600 weeks old. And the Toy Story movie this is another big one. The Toy Story movie will be exactly 1,600 weeks old on the final, the original one. Let me find that. or maybe I won't try to find it. Oh, here it is. Oh, but no, I also made this connection. You know how the video from the Netherlands is about a cowboy and an astronaut? That's the two main characters in their thing. And think about Toy Story. But the point is, the Australian player who scored an own goal against the United States the other day, he was 1,600 weeks old when he did that. And that just happens to be the same duration between the original Toy Story 1 to the World Cup final. Same duration, 1,600 weeks exactly. That's the White House address, of course. And but this is the big one. Like, so Messi tied Klose in this World Cup with 16. He tied him, right? Of course, he's passed him now, but the whole point was to tie him with 16. That's why Messi got a hat trick so perfectly. And that was perfectly connected with Pope Leo and Francis, by the way. But yeah, 16 days. What's the chances that Klose, who was the leader with 16 goals, he was born 16 days before the Netherlands versus Argentina World Cup final. And then Mr. Argentina this year ties him with 16 goals, right? But on top of that, if you go 16 days after the 1978 World Cup final with Argentina and Netherlands, it's July 11th, which just so happens to be exactly 32 years before Netherlands was in the next World Cup final. And 32 years is what? 16 plus 16. And this is important because in soccer, you go from a round of 32 to a round of 16. 16 plus 16, 32. But that means that from the 32 years after the July 11th, which is 16 days after the World Cup final. And another thing to mention is that Argentina final was on 25/6, which is 16 times 16. But yeah, it's going to be 16 years and 8 days from the last World Cup final with Spain and Netherlands to the World Cup final this year. And again, Cruyff or Klose, the World Cup final in 1970, and this is the year Kobe was born. So there's a huge Kobe thing probably. But anyway, Klose was also born 256 days after the last total solar eclipse before he was born, which is also 16 times 16. So there's even more 16s with the Netherlands and all that, but this kind of lays out how important the 16 is. There's basically the two World Cups the Netherlands has been in is completely tied to 16. That's basically the point of this slide. And then we've already had plenty of confirmation this year about all the 16s who are scoring and everything. So, oh yeah, somebody in the chat's mentioning how the German economist who's predicting the Netherlands. Oh, that's wow. Yeah, I completely missed that. Let me just pull it up. Joachim.
His name's Joachim. That's funny.
So notice how, Netherlands, Portugal. Let me just bring up the trusty Latin cipher. I mean, sometimes I wish I could just use this cipher, guys. I mean, sometimes it's all you need. Yeah, you can see I already have his name in here 5 times. But yeah, look. So he's predicting. Oh, I took out his name, but sorry, guys, I'm tired. So yeah, his name equals Netherlands, Portugal. I mean, what's the odds of that? And it's the 9/11. So there's your Solomon's Temple thing.
Well, and his name is Joachim.
Right. So, you know, like, yeah, I mean, it's just also another thing connecting the 1572s I already showed. I think World Trade Center. Equals, or what was it? I don't remember now. One World. Yeah, look, One World Trade Center. So that number that just came perfectly in with the with this slide, wherever it's at. But yeah, you guys remember that. So the point is, this 1572 is huge. And there's probably something more that happened that year as well that I probably have missed. Yeah, I think that's it for now.
Well, we appreciate it, Codes. Yeah. I think it was Mr. S earlier in the chat. Maybe we can get into a routine of maybe having you kick things off if you have something ready, to share with us or to echo from one of your other videos. That way, you don't have to hang on as long as maybe you do to present your stuff. But
No,
I mean,
it's
amazing
fine.
stuff as always.
Well, at the beginning, I didn't have the slides built, so I was just gonna wait for everyone to share, and then it's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, those 16s are crazy. I mean, especially with all the 53s we saw with the Knicks, 53 the 16th prime.
Oh man, this I can't even tell you how many 53s I even left out of all my decodes.
Yeah.
Like all with the Netherlands especially. There's even a 241 connection between the Netherlands coach, and that breaks down to the 53 and the 16 as well. So the 16 is so important. And that's why the next Netherlands game is something to watch, because it will be on 256 again, just like their World Cup final against Argentina. This year they're playing, who are they playing? Tunisia. They're playing Tunisia on 256, which is 16 times 16. And that's also the anniversary of and that's something I left out, is there's a famous game between Portugal and Netherlands called the Massacre in Nuremberg. And I've already showed you guys in last week that if you measure from that Massacre in Nuremberg between those two teams to the World Cup final, it's 7,330 days. And Battle of Nuremberg equals 733. So that also lines up astronomically perfect. Like, again, in Latin, 733 days between. And again, that's why you have the German guy, I think, predicting it, because the Battle of Nuremberg was, of course, in Germany. So, and, these two teams are the two best teams to play in soccer who have never won the World Cup. If you think about it, Netherlands has been to 3 World Cups, never won. Portugal, another great team who's never won. So it would be like one of those teams is going to walk away bitter, right? A little with a bitter taste in their mouth, which is why I believe that Shakira's song is called Die Die, which is a bitter orange. Bitter orange equals 719, by the way, in standard gematria. So yeah, it's somebody says Battle of Nuremberg equals 846 in Latin.
Fading the Public pointed that out.
Yeah, but that's why he's got it spelled wrong, though. That's why I actually did that too. Battle of Nuremberg. I even spelled it wrong. Wait, what is it? Just real quick, so I'm not. Because in Portugal did win that. But again, it was on 25. That was on 25-6 too. What the? Oh my gosh. So the World Cup between Argentina and Netherlands was on 25-6, 16 times 16. The other famous match I'm talking about is on the same day, 16 times 16. And now they're playing again, Netherlands, in a few days on that day. So we got to watch that day for sure. But yeah, if you type in battle, let me just take it and copy it. I must be missing something. What was I missing? I don't get it. I thought, no, I was missing a letter.
Maybe? I don't know.
No, I wasn't missing a the. I was missing a letter in Nuremberg. But yeah, it's 733, right?
We'll do the Battle of Nuremberg. They were saying that it's 846.
The Battle of Nuremberg.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's crazy too. That's crazy too, because remember, we're talking about Victor Wembanyama, the One World Trade Center. Remember, One World Trade Center equals 1572. That's the big number I already showed. Wembanyama was born 846 days after 9/11. The Battle of Nuremberg, 846. Remember, Rambo's talked about this. How important are the numbers to the Germans? Their whole 9/11 connections, right? So it would make sense why they would be. But yeah, Battle of Nuremberg equals 733. But here's why that's important, is because if you go from the game to the World Cup final, it's 7,330 days. Yeah, it's got that extra zero in there, but I mean, what's the odds of that? I mean, I'm just using the Latin cipher for all this pretty much, which makes it even more unreal because this cipher it's not like you're just going to get, you're
not going to find all kinds of simple alignments for sure.
Somebody says The Last Dance, Messi Ronaldo equals 846. Wow. Crazy. But yeah, that's all I have. You guys can do with that or think about that what you want. I just know for me, it's undeniable. I can't not put some kind of weight on it, even though this guy's stupid prediction is bugging me. Because if that wasn't there, I'd be like, yeah, I'm more confident to say that's what I think. And it's not that I'm trying to bet on it either. I'm not even betting, but I just want to see the code play out. I mean, if it's as perfect as it looks, and just from every angle, I just want to see it play out,
Right. Well, Cody, yeah, let me get your slide up here. Once again, thank you so much, man, for hanging in there and for all of your findings and sharing that with us tonight. Always excited to see your videos post on YouTube. Just final closing comments, just reminder to those who might be finding your work tonight for the first time, where they can find you and support you.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks everyone for watching. And this was a great stream. Lots of great information from Rambo and from Myron. And just appreciate you all for listening to us and staying with us for this whole time. And if you guys want to find me, Decoding with Cody on YouTube, and then buymeacoffee.com/decoding with Cody. And I'll definitely be having a standalone video on all this. This Reagan stuff I got to dig way deeper, but definitely be having more on this.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. Yeah, make sure that you guys are giving Decoding with Cody a follow. I do have to update this screenshot, Cody. I apologize because I know you changed the digits at the end of your handle, 16461, right?
Yeah.
I'll update that for next week. But thanks again, man. Feel free to drop off when you need to. I know it's the sun's rising over where you're at, so thanks again, Cody.
I probably will jump off. It's almost 7 a.m. already here. So
yeah. Do your thing, Codes. Get some rest, and it was good. It was good catching up with you, man. We'll chat soon.
Yeah, and thank you, Myron. Blessings to you, and also Rambo. Hope you guys have a good night.
Yeah, thanks. Take care.
Yes, sir, Cody. Blessings, bro.
See you guys.
See you, Codes. Thank you, Fade in the Public. I hopefully you guys are enjoying it. I didn't really have much else other than, kind of what I was just pointing out to you guys. Latest in the NBA news, right? We had the trade of Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Bucks now going to the Miami Heat. And I just thought this was kind of a fun symbolism / wordplay kind of ritual going on here. Don't forget that Giannis won his only NBA Finals against the Phoenix Suns in Arizona. Buc-ee's is a very popular, very large, very clean gas station. For those of you guys that don't know what Buc-ee's is about, but they've expanded a little bit and they opened up their first ever Buc-ee's in Arizona. The same day that it was made public that Giannis was being traded from the Bucks, right? Buc-ee's Bucks, to the Heat. And Buc-ee's shows up in Arizona, known for their heat, right? And not only that, I just want to emphasize, like I said, Giannis has one championship beating Arizona. And I just want to show you the date alignment here that it was announced yesterday, the 22nd, that the Bucks traded Giannis to the Heat. The same day that Buc-ee's in Arizona officially opened. Same day, same year. And outside of that, I stumbled into a player I'm not that familiar with yet, but just so you guys know, the Buc-ee's is located in Goodyear, Arizona. That's interesting because there was a really big fire. I'm forgetting the name of it at the moment, but it was a very big fire that was going down in Goodyear just over the last couple of months before the opening of Buc-ee's. So just think about flames and, the flaming basketball for the Miami Heat logo. But look at this, you guys. We're talking about Goodyear, Arizona. We're talking about Giannis leaving the Bucks, going to Miami. Well, there was a player by the name of Chuck Goodyear who wore number 34 for Miami of Ohio before being drafted to the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, are you kidding me? That's crazy. Like, from the numbers to the team names, everything like that. And then lastly, I was just taking a look at Chuck Goodyear's birthday. Sure enough, Giannis was traded to the Heat, or at least publicized, 64 days before his birthday. And there you go, his name, Chuck Goodyear 64. So that's all I had to kind of close things out from a high level perspective. I don't know if there was anything else you guys wanted to add to this particular part of the presentation. But other than that, I mean, I'll just say my last piece. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, for everybody putting in phenomenal contributions into the chat. As always, you guys make the show what it is. We appreciate it. But yeah, Rambo, Myron, you guys got any thoughts about this Giannis to Miami piece here, at least with what I shared?
Well, just looking at this, what stands out is the date, the June 22nd, which can be 622 or 226, which are numbers that I've been stressing.
Yes.
The 622.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Matthew 6:22. Therefore, thine eye be single.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is not from a New Age. What people would consider New Age, I guess. I think Christians don't really accept that kind of thing. But this is a quote from Jesus Christ. It's referring to the third eye. It's not referring to the physical eyes. Yeah, he talks about the single eye, which enables you to see past the matrix. So you want to be full of light. And that's a quote from Jesus 6:22, and which is related to the chariots of fire, which sums to 226. Chariots of fire is 226. Department of War is 226. 26 June. So that's a big date on that issue, because things like that, seeing past 3D, there's more than the 3 dimensions. That kind of general topic, which is related to UFOs, UAPs. That's what stands out. And so you say, okay, well, what does Giannis and Chuck Goodyear have to do with that? Now it's kind of a stretch, right? UAPs. If you see the movie Disclosure Day, a very central symbol, which has been used in many other movies, is the deer. The deer is a central symbol in that movie. If you haven't seen the movie, at least seen the trailers, the deer, the buck.
Yeah, and shoot. Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, because back in Myron, what year was it? 2021 when Giannis beat the Suns?
2021.
21. Yeah, well, at that time, the Suns arena was called Footprint Center. I remember that. That was very interesting, considering with the Bucks, the deer, right, as their logo. Defeating the Suns, who at that time played at Footprint Center. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, no, good point about the 622s, Rambo, for sure.
Yeah, that number always stands out for me.
Yeah.
But the buck, that buck, I personally have not really gotten to the heart of what that bucks, because you saw it in Leave the World Behind.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it in many other contexts.
I mean, it almost kind of makes me think of, like, you were talking about thine eye be single. It makes me think of Bucky's Buck Eyes, right? There's kind of that eye connection just with Buck alone when you think about Buckeye.
Yeah, and think of
right?
What is a buck? Another name, a buck is also, besides the deer, it's $1, right?
Right.
And what do you see on the dollar bill? The most famous.
There you go.
The eye is on the single eye is on the dollar. That's the Buckeye. The Buckeye is on the dollar bill.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that deer symbol, the antlers, it's also used in MK Ultra. I really haven't really gotten a full grasp on what exactly that symbol means. It's been used in so many different contexts. Leave the World Behind, focus on the deer, and yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, it is related through the movie Disclosure Day.
Yeah, and shout out to BPM, just saying both Ohio teams play spring training in Goodyear. Interesting. I mean, well, as far as the cycle symbolism, I always think of Goodyear, which is, I believe, sponsors Cleveland, the Cavaliers, or at least they did for a time, Goodyear, with the shoe and everything. But it makes me think of the cycle again. Goodyear tires.
Yeah, that's part of it. That's
you know what I mean. So, anyways, yeah. Well, like I said, that's all I got. I mean, thank you, Rambo, and thank you, Myron, so much for all your contributions tonight, and thank you, chat, so much for tuning in tonight. Myron, any final things on your end as we wrap things up?
Yeah, I got to look into the Heat a little bit more. Mine, of course, is always Giannis and his birthday, the 12/6, the 126. Gianna Bryant being 126. Before Gianna's passing, she was heavily connected to Sabrina Ionescu, and she has the same birthday as Giannis, the 12/6. And I know Sabrina Ionescu, she correlates to Sabrina the Teenage Witch in witchcraft. And the actress that plays Sabrina the Teenage Witch is Melissa Joan Hart, and a hart is a male deer. So I got to do a little bit more diving, but I've been looking at that. I just got to see the connections I find with the Heat, but I know I'll probably find something out there. I just got to look at a few dates and then see what any big landings and then his jersey number and things like that.
Yeah, no, 100%. I know we've talked recently about Melissa Joan Hart and her connections with wrestling and all the Owen Hart stuff that you've been doing. I just noticed, is that a Goodyear logo at the top of the rim here in your photo?
Is it?
Yeah, it looks like a shoe with wings.
Oh, that's definitely something with wings. Yeah, I don't know. In that the name of that league, remember I said it was called the Mecca. So you never know. So that in Long Beach, that gym was in Long Beach, and it was called, the league I was playing in is the Mecca. And then the league after that, they switched it from that gym to a gym that's at a Jesuit high school now. So I'm sure there's Darrell Wright and a few NBA players played in that league. So it's probably some underlying stuff there too.
I just noticed that logo. I was like, wait, is that the Goodyear logo? That's crazy. Yeah. Hey, thanks again, Myron. Yeah, no, you're always more than welcome to join. We appreciate you hopping in this week. Obviously, there's a lot going on your end. Happy belated Father's Day to you, man.
Appreciate you.
Best of luck with the next one very shortly on the way. So
I'm
excited for you, man.
Yep. Thank you, man. I appreciate you always.
100%. Rambo, close us out, my friend.
I'll just say one thing to look out for that date, September 11th, Argentina versus Portugal, the last dance. Messi,
oh, no, that's July 11th. July 11th.
What did I say?
September 11th.
Did I say September 11th? Wow.
Yeah, I think so.
Sept was 7 initially. There was a 10.
Oh, there you go. So you technically weren't wrong. Yeah. I stand corrected.
Yeah, Sept is 7. Yeah, but yeah, that's 7/11. July 11th. If it pans out, for that to pan out, Portugal has to beat Colombia. They have one game left. Colombia is now on top of the group, but Portugal has to win the group in order for that last dance. Messi, Ronaldo. Think of this: the worldwide ratings. Right. This is the last one. I mean, okay, they've stretched it out. One's 41, the other's 39. Come on, are they really going to come back at 45 and 43? No, this is their last dance, and this is all about Jordan and the last. Not all about, but I think it's primarily about Jordan. Well, Jordan's a serious symbol. So Sirius is the heart of this, and it's about the last dance of the GOATs. And I can see they've lined it up. But for that to happen, Colombia is now on top of the group. Portugal has to beat Colombia in its next game. It'll then win the group. I think after that, we know what's going to happen and I'm surprised. I mean, I look at a lot of sports stuff, soccer stuff. Not too many people have looked at that. July 11th, 2026, the last dance between the two GOATs. And Ronaldo, who had underperformed, he made a statement yesterday, scoring 2 goals, and you saw the way he celebrated. Like, he was like, stamping his authority on it, like with pride and everything. It's like, I'm still here. I'm still in the conversation type of thing. So that's the thing to look out for, is that last dance game of the GOATs. And I suspect that Ronaldo's going to take that one. I think. But so yeah, that's the thing to look out for. And again, this is a fantastic stream. Thanks again for giving me the platform and just the place to speak. Thanks for the great contributions from Myron, yourself, and KODI, of course, and from for the audience and the audience who hasn't tuned in yet, who'll watch later, and for all those who contributed. I appreciate all of you. And this is where I can find patreon.com/thetruthcodes. $5 a month is one tier. Still trying to figure out the live stream. I've tried multiple options. AJ, you know how frustrating it is because you tried to help me. But I'm optimistic that I'll get it sorted out. Because that's what I've been working on the last week, is just trying to figure it out, how to live stream off of Patreon. And again, I'm also on Instagram.com/thetruthcode. So thanks everybody again.
Yeah, no, and thank you, Rambo. It's always a pleasure having you in our corner every week, and I'm more than happy to continue to help, any ways that I can. I'm really excited for when we finally crack that code, for you to start doing your lives over on the Patreon. So I'm excited about that. Let me know how I can help be a guinea pig, so to speak with what we're trying. Outside of that, if you guys haven't hit the like or the subscribe yet, please make sure to do so on the way out. Share where you guys see fit. I know it's been a long stream, but if you guys got a long drive ahead, maybe it's worth something listening to. But I had a blast with you guys. Shout out once again to everybody in the chat. And without further ado, we'll close it out there. Stay safe, everybody, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Right, good night. Take care, everyone.
See you guys. Love.
Win some, lose some, bag some, choose none. Will the aliens come save the day? Are we going to listen to what they say? The uranium, cranium, aliens popping up like circadians. Got me spontaneously training in the Palladium gymnasium. Ultimate battle in the extraterrestrial stadium. It really just be the Mediterranean and Sylvanians. Bloodlines, overtime, dragon descendants, scripting bread and circus lizards in a